now, from the mean streets of Essex, England, this is Whatcast.
Hello, everyone. I'm a few minutes late. I just got a cup of tea and all that for a drink. Hello, everybody. Filing in here. This is Matt, and this is Whatcast. So today on this live, I wanted to do something a bit different. It's not that different, but because of like all the stuff that's been happening with Flat Earth Dave this week, and all of his denials of reality and things that he said and whatever, I need to change the chat, don't I? So everyone always tells me to do that, so I'll do that first, right? So it's not top chat, it's all chat or whatever. Just do this. Yeah, so I got curious the other day, and I went back and I spoke to Jaren about this when he was on. I went back and I had a look at the debate that they was all talking about, and what Dave had organised between allegedly originally himself and Will Duffy, and then he ended up being Jaren and Witsit. Now, the reason I wanted to look at this is because I don't know if people remember it or people may not have even seen it, but it just shows, like, if you listen to the way the conversation goes. Hello, Roger. Hello, I'm fornicated. Who else is popping up there? Jalian. Hello, Mike. Hello. So it's so ridiculous that that they pretend that this was all a plan from the beginning. When you actually hear the conversation, it's so fucking insane. Like they deserve Oscars if this was the plan from the beginning, because of especially Jaren. Like, Jaren is in full fluff mode in this one. Like, you'll see the change in Jaren, and I do wonder, and I think I've wondered to Jaren when I've been talking to him, whether he would have actually changed his mind if he didn't see it for himself. It's kind of different. Hello, Arnold. Hello, Slow-Mo, Unfornicated. Izzy, thank you. Jeebus, how do you say your name, mate? Oh, to come with a feather. Hang on, not that Roger. That was Mudflood Roger, right? With the feather. Right, so let's jump straight into this then, shall we, and see how this went. So Will Duffy wasn't even known at this point. For context, I think this was fucking hell, February or 2024. It was early 2024. I'm sure of it. Yeah, you're right. I'm fornicated. It's Witsit, but they're in full like defense mode, and it's quite funny. It's quite funny to see the programming and the way they're desperately not trying to give anything, won't give an inch to anything, even if it doesn't work for them at all. Hello, JD. Hello, my mum bakes cakes. Crypto Roast, hello. So, let's check it out then, shall we? If any flat earthers, this is the reason I'm doing this, because I've been getting quite a lot of flat earthers in the stream lately, and I want them that they're all so convinced that Jaren and Witsit were in on it from the beginning, and they was all friends behind the scenes. Just watch this, if you think that. Let's go.
I see a curve. So I don't see a curve, I see a curve. But I don't see a curve, but I see a curve. For an outside observer, it gets pretty boring quickly and it's almost a bit frustrating, honestly. So I decided I was going to avoid these arguments as well, which seem to be at a bit of a stalemate.
Can everybody hear this okay? I doubt I'll get this 4 hours, it looks like. So I doubt I'll get through this today, but I'll finish up on Sunday. So that'd be something else to do. I've got a few. If we get a bit bored of this, I've got other things lined up as well.
And see if I couldn't move the needle, help move the conversation forward instead of the back and forth game that seemed to have no end. So after 2 full years of taking in as much content as I could find.
Turn it
on
up,
both
yeah?
sides, flat Earth and globe. I finally decided to put something out myself on the topic. And let me share that real fast.
That is
Okay.
That's as loud as it goes. That's the top volume.
So I put out this 3-part series on YouTube. It's called Irrefutable Proof We Live on a Globe and Not a Flat Earth. It's pretty easy to find on YouTube, on our Agape Kingdom Fellowship channel. And in these 3 videos, I cover 12 total topics. And here are the 12 topics.
CMS.
Share this, and this will be the last thing I got to share here.
Yes. Slow-mo.
Okay.
That's the very one.
Here they are. The first is the Himawari 9 Japanese weather satellite. The second is whether or not NASA photoshops their images. Then how there's no flat Earth map, and the Gleason map actually comes from a globe.
Yeah, crypto. I have seen that. I've seen the whole thing before ages ago, and I watched probably the first 20 minutes or so last week time, and I did mention it to Jeremy when I spoke to him last week or whenever it was, that I'd started watching it, and I asked him why he was behaving the way he behaves here, and why he was so closed-minded at the time. But I just thought I'd save the rest of it and watch it on here, because it was. I kind of remember thinking it was pretty interesting at the time.
Globe. Space is real. Satellites are real. And I'm not talking about satelloons. Solar eclipses only make sense in the globe model. Lunar eclipses are only possible in the globe model. The Apollo 8 mission and the pictures and videos they took. The ISS is real and it's in space. Spacewalks happen in space and they cannot happen underwater. Southern hemisphere flights, that's my personal favorite. And then water does not always find its level.
Won't always find its level.
So this should give us plenty of options to discuss. And Austin, I'll even let you choose which ones we talk about. The only one that I really want to make sure we cover before the night is over is Southern Hemisphere flights, as that's my favorite. I'm more than happy to hit all of these if you'd like. And before we start, I have a quick question for both of you. I will probably bring up the Titanic at some point tonight, and I want to make sure we're all on.
That's right. Try thinking what you just said there. Will isn't the best globe debater, but he's certainly destroyed flat Earth better than anyone else. Yeah, but I think the reason he was so effective in the debates that he had is because his ego didn't make him go into parts of the topic that he doesn't understand. Like, so many people just won't concede a point and end up letting the flat Earth person humiliate them into going into something that they haven't even looked at. And Will never ever did that, and that's why he was effective. You should never do that. Like, you keep everything to things we can all see. Then there's no argument about it.
Same page regarding the Titanic. So it was a real boat. It really sunk, and it's really at the bottom of the ocean. Do we all agree on that?
I do not necessarily believe that.
Austin?
But I can give it to you.
Sank, yeah. It looks like something may have sank right after a science fiction book called The Wreck of the Titan was published, about the same exact story.
Okay, great. All right, well, let's dive in. And I must say, you guys produce a ton of content.
Bev who, by the way?
So, Austin, I only had a chance to watch a few of your videos. Your videos are like 2 and 3 and 4 hours long. So it's hard to catch up on everything, but I will give you props for something. You definitely have the best opening in the flat Earth community, specifically the one with all of the dancing astronauts.
Thanks. Took forever to make that.
Yeah, I like it. So where do you want to start?
Let me just start off real quick, just because of what I wrote you in that text message that I didn't know you said until I watched your third video. So I'm guessing you got that from Dave McKeegan, but you know it was me that filmed the ISS.
Yes.
Okay, and you know I posted it on my channel.
I knew you posted it, but then I had heard you took it down.
Okay, but let's think about it real quick. Why would I post it? If I was trying to hide something from my audience, what sense does it make that I would film the ISS cross the sun? Wouldn't I just shelve it? So what sense does it make that you would say, oh, Jaron, he put it out and then he pulled it? And by the way, it's not off the internet. It's still on Odyssey. I pulled all my videos, but everything I've ever done is still on Odyssey. So it's not like it was singled out.
I wonder why he pulled it, though. Because I remember that at the time. And I thought it was quite an honest thing that he'd done. But then he pulled it, which was weird.
It's not like it had that it was anything different to me than any of my other videos.
I didn't know the history, and so I did two things. One, I tried to find it on your channel, and I couldn't find it. And I didn't know if maybe you did a live, and then after the live was uploaded to YouTube, then took it down.
No, it was just a regular uploaded video. But, you know, you could have reached out to me if you wanted. Said, hey, did you pull that video? Why did you pull that video? I'm available. It doesn't have to be you make a video. Because you basically made a video saying that, oh, this guy filmed it, and then he felt weird about it, so then he pulled it, which is just a made-up story. So that's...
Yeah, I'm glad you corrected me on that, thank you for telling me that. And I don't know if you'd be open to re-uploading it to your channel.
Sure, and it's still on Odyssey, but I would gladly re-upload it to my channel.
Cool. Yeah, I've never heard of Odyssey.
Yeah, I mean, if you look in my description, it says all my past videos are there. But
got to do this quickly. $5 from Roger. Tomorrow is CK's birthday, Celine. She'd like you to sing happy birthday to her, just passing the request along. She would have asked me herself if she wanted that. I can guarantee you, me singing happy birthday to anyone isn't going to make their birthday any more enjoyable. But I'm open to suggestions if anybody wants to come up and sing happy birthday to CK. I'll have you up. Cheers, Roger.
It's one of those things that I want people to see, because there's still some people in the community that say that it's not there or that something's faked. And for me, something is going by, period. I've seen it. So, I mean, that's where when you say that, it's like, no, I haven't pulled it down. And my audience has never heard me say anything other than, yeah, I filmed it in front of the sun and the moon. I wanted to see both of them. I had to get a solar filter. I had to get up at 4 a.m. I had to do all that to see it, and was able to see it. So I just wanted to make sure you understood that nothing was pulled. There's nothing being hidden from anybody. There's not even videos that I can think of that were taken down then and then re-uploaded to my channel anyway. Because I said there's my kind of, and Rockfin as well. So it's kind of like my archives are there. And then YouTube, because we get strikes whenever, it's sometimes you want to be a little careful about what's there. So anyway, wanted to put that out there, but good, glad that you recognize that. And Dave McKeegan knows, by the way. Dave McKeegan knows that. And I think you even said in your thing, you're like, oh, and he has some excuse of why he took it down. So somebody told you the reason that I took it down.
No, I was just saying that you probably will have a
gotcha.
reason for taking it down.
Gotcha.
Not that I had heard one.
Got you. All right. And then it's up to you, Austin, where you want to start with his list there.
Well, I do want to say one thing real fast. So, like, I find it weird that you said you looked into it for 2 years and you didn't care about all these things, all these claims that the globe model.
Hang on, why are you saying this, Witsit? Why are you saying this? You know that you already know him and that you was put in place 10 years ago for this moment. So why are you risking exposing it all by mentioning this, that you find it's weird that he's there? It's very strange, considering that the actual truth of the matter is that you're all in on it together and you're about to do a big scam in Antarctica.
And that you don't care about the size. That's the part I don't understand. If the claimed size of the Earth being a sphere is wrong, I don't have to even look at your list. You realize that, right? Like,
I ain't gotta look at your goddamn list. There you do. What's the problem? Like, at this moment, Witsit was the poster boy. And he's already like trying to deflect in this debate. He doesn't really know what he's up against. Or maybe I'll just declare victory before the conversation starts as usual.
If the Earth isn't a sphere with that size, the whole list is not even relevant. Like, what people always do is they don't go to the heart of it because they're afraid of what it might show them. And they come over here and tell me fairy tales about space. I can run right through your list, bro.
Let's do it.
I can take most of your list and turn them into geocentric evidences exclusively. But I'm just trying to understand.
Geocentric. He was already thinking about the switch there. Someone's asked if Jaren's background's a green screen. I don't think so. Like, I've spoke to him a few times, and it does change. He does change to different neon lights and stuff there. But it looks real to me. What the fuck do I know? I couldn't even tell that Antarctica was fake. So what the fuck do I know?
And like, you agree that if the radius value of a sphere is falsified and Earth's not curving at that rate, then everything else that needs the Earth model at that size also is incorrect, right? It would be the most efficient way to do it.
Yeah, just setting that up there. You got to do the same. This always bugs me about flat Earth arguments. Is like, you can't prove flatness. So then just accept that you're arguing that the globe, that the ball is bigger than you think that we're told it is. Like, that's the only argument. When you have this, we shouldn't see this building. Well, the only argument you're making is for a bigger globe then. Because if it was flat, we'd definitely see all of it.
Yeah, all I can tell you, man, just because I don't have a scientific background, is I do believe the Earth is a sphere. I don't know the exact size of it, and I'm here to defend that it is a sphere.
Cool. So I'm gonna be like real good faith and chill. I don't care to go through your list, but
shut the fuck up and just let me get on with it.
I do know the science, and I know that the Earth is not a sphere. I tested it. But I have a question for you, though. So I believe in the scriptures, right?
Oh,
and I know that this is not necessarily.
Hold on, this always happens when I try and do this.
Obviously, the scriptures do not support a heliocentric model in any way, not even remotely close. Exactly the opposite. We have to claim it's all allegory.
Why does that keep doing that?
But what I want to know is, do you think
2 seconds
Jesus or Yeshua, the Messiah, came to the earth and he was constantly correcting the Pharisees and the Sadducees on their interpretations of the scriptures and telling them what the scriptures really meant? And he did not correct the Hebrew people who had misinterpreted the very beginning creation account. You don't think he ever thought to tell them, you have the whole creation account backwards. None of it's literal. It's not actually how the creator made anything. And you have your whole cosmology, your very understanding of where you exist, wrong.
Not Bible bollocks, surely.
So like, did the Messiah think Hebrew cosmology was true? Did he not? Did he just let them all misinterpret the creation account? I don't even know how that makes sense. So I'm curious what your take is on that.
Sure. A couple thoughts. Number one, and again, I don't think I really want to get into this, but I don't know. I haven't made a decision as to whether or not the Hebrew scriptures got cosmology wrong. So for example, I have a message on our YouTube channel where I describe the firmament is possibly the crust of the earth in Genesis 1 and not a glass dome. And I think that's a very valid take on that. The second thing is, we don't have a record of everything that Jesus said. We have a record of very little of what he said. And so if he did address it, it's possible it didn't even make it into the New Testament.
Okay. Yeah, we don't have to talk about it, man. I would say that that's absolutely preposterous, and the firmament is stretched out like a tent over the earth. I also think it's crazy to suggest that the scriptures are true, but you got cosmology wrong, which is about what the creator made. But we don't have to talk about the scriptures. It's all good.
Well, can we just mention the one thing about whether or not the earth is moving? Because I do think that that's important, that one model tells us that we're moving and the other model says that we are firm and can't be moved and will never be moved.
Thanks, Bob.
So Will, you would just think that the Bible says that we can't be moved for what reason? It's like allegory?
Yeah, there's so many figures of speech in the Bible. Definitely.
So how do we know when we can take something as literal?
You don't. Just bin the Bible. Don't read any of the drivel in it, and then you can't go wrong.
For instance, he says it numerous times over and over again. It's firm. It can't be moved. It's on foundations. It's on pillars. It's on,
I'm still searching for a talking snake.
Mm-hmm.
Has been established. So how do we know that that's just because science tells us something different? Then we know it was allegory.
Well, we obviously have to take it in context, and then yes, we also have to compare it to what we see
and a max
as reality. Like for example, the Bible says that the sun sets. And really neither model believes that the sun actually sets, right? And so I think that that's a figure of speech. And I think both of us, even though we have differences of opinion, take what we believe is true and realize that that is what that was meant because that's what they observed.
Sure, and actual Hebrew says comes in and out. So when you actually go to the original language, it describes the earth going in and out away from us. But yeah, it's all good, man. I mean, the scriptures for sure describe a
Why does he start a conversation? Let's talk about the scriptures. He gets through. Yeah, well, anyway, we're all good. Doesn't matter. Move on. Don't bring it up then.
geocentric stationary topographical plane, firmament that's solid over top of it, holding the heavenly waters back. The gates opened, it was flooded, it was closed. The firmament was what held back the waters, right? And then we were shown a rainbow as a promise that he's not going to flood us again, because it's literally showing us that the firmament's still intact. It is for sure a specific cosmology. I guess one could say maybe they got cosmology wrong. And I'm not gonna keep going because I would like to talk to you about it, maybe off the air, because but I'm just saying that makes absolutely no sense. It's preposterous. I don't think that twisting the scriptures is anything to mess with. And if you say they got cosmology wrong, you're saying that the Messiah came and also got it wrong. And I don't know, you may be like a Jesus is God, or I don't know, but that just seems wild to me. So, but okay, let's just go to the conversation about the earth. I don't want to.
Well, let me ask one other question.
Just feel bad. That's a losing battle. You know, like it's a losing battle for you.
So the other question.
Yeah, it's a losing battle for you. You don't even want to challenge me on that one because you'll just lose. So I'll move on before you lose. I mean, I think anybody that bothers having a serious conversation about the Bible, both sides have already lost.
Certain things that we'll always answer it's fake, and you say that that's not a sufficient answer to answer it's fake. So my question to you is evolution true?
I do not hold to evolution.
So what do you have to say about the people who teach evolution in school? Are they lying?
They might be convinced that it's the best the best answer for what the evidence is. It could be that they are looking for something to hold on to other than
99 people, only 27 likes. Come on, I always have to bring that up. Don't be lazy. It's a click away from doing me a big favor. Cheers.
A creative God. There's a lot of reasons.
Right,
Man.
Yeah.
Watch the flat earthers do the thumbs down.
Oh, you can have one down. You're not giving you a fucking thumbs up, you prick.
Very good answer.
Great answer.
Okay.
All right, well, let's just get into it, man. So like, I'm pretty chill, man. I'm pretty chill. We falsified the radius value. You don't want to talk about that. It's okay. Wait, I got a screenshot of your list here.
Okay, I can reshare it at any point if you need.
We falsified the radius value, but you don't want to talk about that. I mean, you didn't do anything. That's why.
You want to? I know you're big on Southern Hemisphere flights. Happy to talk about them. Let's start off with satellites are real.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, cool. So do you want to say anything, or you want me to just dive in?
Well, I want to ask a question.
Sure.
A lot of flat earthers, they do typically say, verify that they're up there the way you guys claim, and there are a bunch of satelloons that weren't fully declassified for a long time. Fact. Number one purchaser of helium in the world is NASA. Fact. I know all the apologists are.
Yeah, Crypto Roast, you're right. It was Jeron's supposed to be the moderator here, and he was talking more than Witsit. Quite often he was. But the more confusing thing about that is that Jeron was obviously a shill since 2014, was in on it. So there was no reason for him to be so defensive and so passionate about this debate. Very weird that he was. And it's almost like he wasn't put in place in 2014 to expose Flat Earth in 2024. It's almost like that wasn't real. And they just made that up because he saw the sun doing what it's impossible to do on a flat earth and switched sides. And rather than accept that, the truthers have to pretend that he was always in on it for 10 years. Very weird how he digs his heels in here to do that.
Arguments from the other side. But I want to know, if there are satellites up there, why can't that happen on a flat?
Sure. Let me tell you a quick story. It's a true story. And I think this will help you understand my issues with your position on satellites, which is that there are no satellites in space.
Not my position. That is not my position.
Okay.
Obviously, I don't believe in space as you define it. It defies the second law of thermodynamics. I don't see any problem with that. That's why I'm asking. Like,
okay, how about this? You don't believe there are satellites orbiting the Earth?
They orbit over top of the Earth.
Okay, you believe satellites are attached to balloons?
No, I don't think they have to be attached to balloons.
Okay, so this is good. I'm learning your position. So if a satellite is not attached to a balloon, how is it orbiting on top of the Earth?
There are many ways. Maybe it catches the ether drift.
Okay, who knows how to launch a satellite to catch an ether drift?
That's what the equations and physics literally account for. A real inertial force. They actually account for a stationary Earth, what's called an ECEF, Earth-centered, Earth-fixed coordinate system, and they account for real ellipses, curved paths, which in your model, they're not curved paths, they're free falling in a straight path through curved space-time. So from their perspective, they're not curved, but they account for them as if they are curved. So from a plain stationary Earth, it would just be an ellipse moving over top of us. And the physics equations account for an inertial force as if the universe is spinning around the stationary Earth. They also account for a change in velocity relative to the center of the ECI. It is a pretty technical subject, but
That's okay. What prevents them from falling?
What it is a load of bollocks and a ridiculous thing that you cannot justify other than just by saying some words and hope because you've used the word ether, people won't know what you're talking about and just move on. So Bob's gyroscope picked up the ether, did it?
They're riding the ether drift. I mean, that's a speculative answer.
Okay.
But it would make perfect sense. That's what the physics and equations say.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
So this is kind of a theory, like a possibility of yours.
Kind of like your model has a theory that's.
Why is Austin why is he so desperate to deflect? He's obviously been paid off by this point. He knows he's been in place for 10 years to go to Antarctica and say that the sun didn't set. So why is he so passionate about this? Him and Jaren both. Weird.
Space and time are physical and bend and warp, and that they're curving but not really curving, and they're free falling and changing direction perpetually around a ball. That's your model's theory, but your equations don't use that. Your equations use a real inertial force. It's typically a Newtonian mechanics and blah, 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 blah.
Let's bring this down to something that everybody can understand. Here's a true story for you. The house I'm sitting in, we built. So we wanted to kind of get out of the city. So we bought some land. We wanted to live in the woods. So we bought some land, fully wooded, very tall evergreen trees, 30, 40, 50 feet tall. We built our house. We moved in. One of the first things we wanted to do, my wife and I, is like, we need internet. So we called all the internet service providers, and they're like, we don't service your area. And we're like, what do you mean? We've never heard of not having internet. So we looked into it, and there is no internet where we live. So I found a guy, and he's like, I have a tower in your area. Let me come to your house. And so he came to our house, got on our roof. He put this like 20-foot tower on our roof. And he was like, dude, I have no line of sight to my tower. I'm sorry. He said, the only thing you're going to be able to do is satellite internet. And he's like, you're going to have to put a satellite dish on your roof and point it straight up to get through those trees. So Austin, what is satellite internet?
You didn't point it straight up.
Not straight up.
Yes. I just now said satellites are not exclusive to your model. I'm actually suggesting that they're the literal opposite of that, because the physics and equations account for a stationary Earth with the universe, the cosmos, spinning around it, creating an inward force of angular momentum, an inertial force. Your model claims there are no real inertial forces in space.
Okay,
there can't be. So I'm trying to explain to you that if there are satellites in the sky and the physics and equations that we are given as to how they get up there are real, it is actually evidence against the heliocentric model. It would be.
No, it's not. Because surely, like, when you have is it a geostationary? Is that what they're called? Satellite, and you get a TV signal from it or something like that. You put a dish on your house, it points in a certain direction, picks up that satellite. If we were stationary and the satellite was doing this over our head, wouldn't the dish have to follow it to keep the signal? Is that wrong? Like, surely what he's saying. The satellite would either have to be static, sitting there in the same place, or the dish would have to move to follow the satellite, right?
The evidence of geocentricity.
Okay, but how does satellite internet work for somebody like me in my house in the woods?
Why would it work any differently?
Okay, let me try this.
Bruce Wayne, would I go to Antarctica if I had the opportunity? Probably not now, to be honest. I offered before anybody else offered, when this first thing that I wasn't on the list. But I thought, if just to make sure this happens, I'll offer to go. Didn't really, kind of regretted it immediately when I said it, but probably would have done at the time. But now, because I believe everything I've seen from there, I've seen that I'd probably be bored shitless, to be honest. I don't actually mind the cold, but it's the lack of things to do that I would mind. Like, I don't sleep that much anyway, so I couldn't even sleep it away. But probably not, to be honest. If I was a flat earther, I'd definitely want to go. If I was a flat earther that thought this was a bullshit, I would go if I had the opportunity, if someone paid for me to go.
this. Let's say you and I want to go start a satellite internet
None of them do, and that's very telling.
company. Where would we start so that the people that sign up for our services actually get internet in their house?
I guess if you can actually do it, you would put satellites in the sky, and then you would debunk heliocentrism and hopefully make some money.
Yeah, but how would we learn how to get satellites up there so that everybody in all these different countries can have internet?
You would have to go learn the physics and equations of aerospace engineering, which are a stationary Earth with inertial forces and change in velocity relative to the center of the ECI. And you would actually say you wanted to integrate a GPS in there, right? So you can know distances to places. You actually have to account for a change in the speed of light relative to direction, which is also impossible on your model. Satellites are not in any way good evidence.
They're very good evidence. Why does he just pretend they're not and people don't question it? What is he fucking talking about?
For you. So I'm jumping out ahead for you. Number 5 is no
Okay.
good. You've never
Okay.
heard a flat earther say this, rest assured. I know that, and I'm sure you've heard people say balloons a lot, but I went and looked at it. It's not good for your side.
The problem is there's tens of millions of people in the world using satellite internet. And so when you have companies like HughesNet and Starlink, they all must be keeping this secret of knowing how to put a satellite into the ether because they claim they're putting a satellite into orbit in space. So are they all lying?
That's what I'm trying to explain to you. They don't have to lie at all because their actual physics and equations account for a real inertial force. So if there was an actual drift, if there was an ether drift spinning around, then there is a drift connected to the sky. It's been measured and verified literally millions of times. Whether you call it ether or not, speculation. But that would call it, just imagine you're in a giant whirlpool and it's spinning. You go throw a little toy boat in it, right? That is what the equations and physics that they use accounts for. So they wouldn't be in on anything. They would design it.
But you, on the other hand, are in on it. Oh, no, I know. I can tell by the look on your face that you really believed Will. You knew him for ages, and that you was. This whole thing was a sham. This entire debate was a sham to cover up the fact that later that year you were going to go and hold his hand in Antarctica and take the money that you've been earning for 10 years. What a ridiculous theory, honestly.
As if there is a real inertial force drifting around the Earth around a geocentric stationary Earth, and you put it up there, and then of course you would just take a plain Earth, which would have ellipses. You would do a globe transform. You would just transform the coordinate system.
Mhm.
That's not a big deal at all. You would just have a globe transform. So the main point here is that the physics uses a stationary Earth with a real spinning universe with a real force. If they're up there, no one would be in on any secret or any lie or anything like that at all. They wouldn't have to. It's actually pretty brilliant.
They wouldn't work at all for anything we use them for. Hardly anything. Maybe you could take photos with them. That would be it.
Okay, cool. How fast do you think satellites are moving?
Good question, man. I don't have to make specific claims about the satellites. I'm just saying.
I don't have to make any claims. I don't make claims. I'll just, what does he say? I don't know what his stupid catchphrase used to be that he doesn't seem to say anymore. Falsification. One of you will know what it is.
That ironically, if they are real, they cannot be working in your model. They cannot be going around a spinning Earth revolving around the sun. And I could get into all the technical analysis of the. It's all good. Let's just say you got to retire satellites or go. You're gonna. I mean, there is no rebuttal to this because technically there can be no circular paths in your model. That's Newtonian mechanics debunked by Michelson-Morley. You have to have a free fall and a geodesic path, curvature of spacetime, meaning simply the satellites have to be going straight, but only from an outside reference frame would they be curving because they're going through the curvature of space and time. That's what Einstein said. You replace Newton, who said an object will keep going straight unless an outside force acts on it. Your model cannot say that anymore. It was debunked in Michelson-Morley. Guess what they do with their physics and equations? They
Is not independent of replacement. That's what I'm looking for.
account for circular paths, for actual curved paths with an actual inertial force acting on them. Einstein says there is no force, and that objects will curve in the geodesic of space-time. So, I mean, I know that you did basically like offer an olive branch of sorts that you're not going to know all the technical stuff, and that's fine. I'm just telling you that this is just a fact. How about this? I'll read a quote. You can think about it, and if you can just admit you don't know that much about it, then we can go. We can move on. But it can't be invoked as some type of exclusive evidence of the heliocentric model because they're not.
Yeah, I'm arguing right now that satellites are real, and people that have satellite internet are evidence that satellites are real. And then all I'm suggesting for the audience sake here, Austin, is that we can't find anybody that works for any of these companies that's involved in the development of the equipment that believes what you are saying. You and other flat earthers are the only ones that believe that the satellites are going into an ether under a dome. You won't be able to find anyone that believes that. They all believe it's going into space and it's orbiting the Earth.
Okay, so basically you implied a straw man as if I'm saying the satellites don't exist again. Because that was what the script you thought I was going to say was. And I understand why a lot of flat earthers deny them. And I'm not even claiming that they're real because they're all.
Because I don't make claims. Because I want to be able to back out of everything if I get disproven and say, well, I didn't claim it anyway. I was just speculating.
Are a lot of satelloons, and when Google gave internet to people in remote areas, guess what they use? They use balloons. It's called the Google Balloon Project in 2018. Why do we have tens of thousands of satellites and Google is not using them to give people internet? They're using balloons. And why does the military not let most average people know that there are tons of really high-tech balloons? They're putting thousands up all the time, catching them, replacing them. What? I don't care, because if there really are satellites, I think I've seen Starlink. I've seen the ISS. I looked into getting Starlink satellite when I was in an RV. Hey, I have no problem with it because it doesn't matter. And then you said an appeal to consensus. Everyone believes something. I don't care what everyone believes, bro. A lot of people used to think slavery was cool, man. I don't care what everyone believes. That's a fallacy. So I'm going to read the quote, bro. Okay. This is from a PhD. It's about this.
So this is supposed to be Will's list. Will said about one thing and then Witsit just took off with all of his bollocks.
Specific subjects, not appealing to this guy's authority. I'm not saying this is true because this guy said it. Okay. I'm just saying that this is the facts. And here's that PhD that'll also tell you. But do we agree, though, that do you understand my position? I'm not claiming that they don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Not making positive claim that they do exist in any certain way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that if they did exist, they're not exclusive to your model. And actually, they're the opposite. They would have to be on a geocentric model.
Geocentric sphere?
And have you
See
heard
what
of?
I'm saying?
Are you pulling up the quote or no?
Yeah, I just have like 300 here.
Have you heard of Project Echo?
No.
So Project Echo in the 60s was they put up gigantic balloons. They were 100 foot, one of them, Echo 1, 135 feet, I think Echo 2, in diameter, huge. And one of them was active, meaning that you send a signal to it.
Arnold. Entire Arnold $5. Entire industries are just making up bullshit and lying about everything because a jobless loser who spit on his wife said so on the internet. That's the theory, anyway. You probably shouldn't pick on him, though, because he was on your side all along. He was paid for 10 years ago. You know this, right? Can't you? It's just so obvious watching this debate that he was always in on it. Why would they put this on as like a, oh, they've faked the entire debate for 4 hours to trick everybody?
It receives that signal, amplifies it,
Paranoia is unfucking believable.
and then transmits it back to Earth. So it's very possible to use reflective balloons as satellite bounce stations. So just because you've never been told that doesn't mean that that's not what they're using. It's very, very simple to point your dish up at the sky. They send a beam to that balloon, bounces back to your dish. Amen. You have internet or TV or whatever you need.
There are tons of balloons up there, and Google proved you can use internet for it and stuff. But here's the quote. Jaren, I'll share the screen. I don't know if you can show it easily or not.
Sorry, I can. Sorry.
All right. It says, again, once more for the record, it has been shown at least 6 different ways this century alone that the equations in physics used by NASA to launch satellites are identical to the equations derived from a geocentric universe. Thus, if the space program is proof of anything, it proves geocentricity and disproves heliocentrism. The evidence for heliocentrism is even weaker than the evidence for evolution. This is a PhD astronomer, Gerardus Bow. And I gave you the specifics. It counts for real inertial forces, centripetal, centripetal, and actually there's a net centripetal, radially inward accelerative force, and then there's a Euler force. It counts for real inertial forces. It counts for a change in velocity relative to the center of the ECI, which is the Earth-centered inertial frame, which has the seasons happening like every 24 hours because they had to change it because your model didn't work. It counts for preferred direction of light. That light is variant, C plus V, relative to.
The sun doesn't even work on your model. Yeah, this didn't work. So they just changed it because it didn't work on your model. Nothing works on your model.
Nothing in the sky whatsoever works on any flat earth model. That is now confirmed. And people was desperately running to Joe Hanvey, and then he just fucked off. And now they've got no one to run to. And they're not even flat earthers ain't fucking sad enough to run to Alonso's model. Yeah. It's just flat, but in the south, everything's much shorter than it appears to be because of reasons.
How fast the clocks move for synchronization, and I go more and more into detail. But this is a fact. The fact is, this is the stillman for your model. Look, I do this sometimes. Okay, yeah, sure, we use the geocentric physics and equations, but actually, it's just easier. It's a simpler physics, simple equation. So we use a geocentric Earth model because we're on the Earth. Why wouldn't we? We're on the Earth. So we just use it as if the Earth is stationary. We use it as if there are real forces, but they're actually just pseudo forces. They're not really there. We act like they're going in a circle because it's easier math. We use Newton, even though he was debunked, and we use the Earth-centered, Earth-fixed system, even though the Earth is actually not centered nor fixed and is tilted, wobbling, spinning, and revolving, flying through space. But it works anyway. But they're wrong because they cannot work anyway. They're fundamentally contradictory physics, and that would violate the law of non-contradiction, is the first law of logic. So.
Are you familiar with the advertised orbit of the ISS?
Yeah.
And were you aware that people will use that to figure out when the ISS will be above them?
The advertised orbit, as in like what they publish and where it can be.
Yeah, no.
Of course.
The published. You have to agree with the published orbit because it's around a globe.
No. Have you not seen it just put on a plane?
Yeah, it looks like a spirograph. It's an impossibility.
It's crazy. It's like everything in nature takes that geometry, including all the planets from a stationary Earth position.
Crazy that, isn't it?
So this isn't exclusive to like a spinning globe or anything, man. I think that's kind of the point here. And if I wanted to really get into it, your model's been disproven, and something like what I'm saying has to be the case because we've shown that what you guys claim as Earth rotation measurements actually is not. We can measure the spin of the Earth, the spin of the sky, that you guys call the spin of the Earth, right? It's called sidereal rotation.
The spin of the sky. The spin of the sky that somehow makes two different points of rotation because the sky spins one way. Make that make sense, Witsit.
With interferometry lasers. And as we get higher up, it gets faster and faster and faster. And the laser travels. I don't think light actually travels.
Yeah. Elder Bear and Bev, or whatever your fucking name is. What are you actually trying to achieve by over pretending that you're not flat earthers in the chat? Nobody gives a single fuck about Nobody gives a single fuck about your lame trolling. It's so shit.
Faster in east to west, the same direction the sky moves, and it changes with the seasons and solar motion. So we've shown that there is a drift.
Let's go into a live and pretend we're globers. Yeah, let's do it. Let's get our cocks out.
That'd be so exciting when we do that. Nobody cares.
In the sky that you can detect and actually even affects pendulums that you also claim as Earth spin. And so that makes perfect sense, right? The evidence has shown there is no rebuttal from your side. You guys have to claim that it's not real, literally. That's what Einstein said. It must be an error. He said, if it's not instrumental error, my whole theory is wrong. But I think I'm going to try to explain it real simple, but we can move on or whatever. But so as you get higher, it gets stronger. Michelson-Morley, Michelson-Gale-Pearson, Dayton-Miller replicated many times even in the 21st century with incredible radio millimeter wave precision. So I think about it, if you go higher, the drift keeps getting stronger. Well, also the air keeps getting thinner. So you're going to have less impedance, right, of the drift because there's less physical material medium there to impede it, right? And we've proven it affects the matter by messing with the pendulum at the bottom, at the surface where it's the thickest. So long story short, the drift will get stronger and stronger the higher you go, like the measurements show. So to me, I think there probably is stuff up there for sure doing these little spirographs around the Earth. You just transform the coordinate system, and you have to use it as a geocentric Earth. So just like that PhD astronomer said, if it's proof of anything, it's proof of a geocentricity.
Yeah. Let's cite that. We'll Google it to look at it, but then when we Google what shape is the Earth, we won't believe that Google search. But we'll believe Witsit's Google search of the other thing because that proves his point.
I'm going to show this visual real quick for the audience in case they've never seen this before. So here is the orbit of the ISS over a globe, and here's what it would have to be over a flat Earth. And by the way, you might not be able to notice this, but the speed of the ISS on the flat Earth also has to change speed when it gets to the south. So I'm going to suggest right now that this orbit here is what it's actually doing and not this crazy path. And what I do think would refute your model, Austin, is when the ISS goes over the South Pole. So if someone, well, it gets close.
Yeah, see, it's always these little nuances.
It doesn't get close.
It doesn't go over the north or south. No satellites or planes ever go directly over the North Pole even.
But my point is this. If somebody on the tip of South America sees the ISS and then someone in Australia sees it shortly thereafter, then in your model, that's going to be quite a distance to travel to see that thing in the sky versus on the globe. So whatever. The audience can decide what they want with that.
Okay, sure. I mean, yeah, kind of straw man in a model. I don't believe in a map. What's actually...
Oh, yeah. So this is what they always have to do, or had to do. Panic on his face there, even though he was in on it at the time. Like, you'd think he would just start to concede by this point, thinking, well, I'm going to be going to Antarctica and I'm going to expose the the flat Earth anyway for money. So I might as well but he's panicking instead. I haven't got a model. Any flat model the ISS would have to move like that around it. Any flat model. So it doesn't matter if that's your model or not.
Jump to that,
even though it totally was.
That question then.
Great.
I get that. It's honestly not fair in that situation. I've looked into the physics of satellites. You've never heard a flat earther say that, surely, and it's all good. But
It's okay.
you should look into it if you're looking for truth. You should look. Why would a PhD astronomer say
If you're looking for truth.
something that crazy, bro? Is he really that ignorant? You know?
So you're appealing to authority there with a PhD, but you won't listen to other PhDs, like when you debated PhD Tony or when you with Blitz. You don't, you're not going to cite them, but your PhD that sort of said something that sort of agrees with you. We should all listen to him, because why would you say that?
Honestly, man, I'm not doubting you personally, but so many flat earthers have made up quotes, taken quotes out of context, and lied. I would have to research that first. And again, I don't think you would do that, but dude, flat earthers do that all the time.
Oh, Gizmo in the chat. If you were so confident in your globe, why would you waste your time? I couldn't give a fuck. You're very much coming against somebody very different to anybody you've ever come against with me. I do not fucking care. Flat earthers are absolutely ridiculous, and I enjoy pointing and laughing at them. I have no strong religious belief about globe, no love for space, no love for NASA, no love for government. I just enjoy laughing at people that are in complete denial when they've been proven wrong and they look ridiculous. It's funny to me. That's why. It's not like I'm trying to end flat earth. In fact, I hope my channel grows flat earth. I hope people like Gizmo come in more often and dig their heels in even more, because they get so pissed off with people laughing at them that they turn more people into flat earthers, and then I've got more people to laugh at.
All right, so let's talk maps.
Yeah. So I'm trying to find my screen.
You seem triggered. No, I really am not. It's just your ridiculous things. Why do you care so much? I don't. That's the thing. It's hilarious to me. I have no interest. If I saw evidence tomorrow that the Earth was flat, I would pursue it and see. There is none. I won't.
Out of your list exactly.
Okay. What I said is there is no flat Earth map, and the Gleason map is.
Leave my globe alone.
So
couldn't give a fuck about the globe.
It's part of the evidence of this whole thing. Yes. So I think I can make a pretty strong case here. Now, I've heard you say many times that the Gleason map is not perfect, but it's a good start.
Yeah, that's actually a good thing. I'm unfornicated. Yeah, I do enjoy laughing at people. I don't care, Gizmo, that I don't give a fuck. If you're gonna try, what you laugh at people, that's bullying. Okay, I'm bullying then. I don't care. Gizmo, can you do me a favour though, mate? While you're here, Unfornicated he would love to have some trolls when he does lives. When do you go live, Unfornicated? Can you subscribe to him and go to his channel when he's much more science based than me. Like, I am literally, you people are idiots, ha ha ha. He'll tell you why you're an idiot. Like, I literally can't be bothered because it falls on deaf ears anyway. So you might as well just point and laugh.
That's an exact quote that you've said many times.
Yeah, usually I say that about the AE map.
That's what he's talking about.
It's kind of the same thing.
Kind of. Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, I can show this if I need to, but if you guys just agree, we can move on. Do you guys agree that Gleason's patent says that he used a...
Oh, damn, Gizmo wouldn't even sub to me. I'm so pissed off about that, Gizmo. You was my target audience as well. Damn, I have to change all of my content now to get the likes of Gizmo with his wanky horizon picture. Look at this is flat.
Globe, and then
named after a fucking, what they called? Gremlin.
The distortion on his map was because it's from a globe.
Yeah. We read his book where he said he literally couldn't patent it unless he did that. He said that he actually writes a big, long book to his friend.
Yeah, I think they talk about the Southern flights in this, later on in this.
Tell him about Flat Earth, and he says, just so you know the context, I couldn't patent any other map unless it was illegal. This is the only coordinate system I can use according to the decree given by the king, which we've actually gone and verified and got the copy of. So he had to use that coordinate system. He explains it in the book. Not that he's a glober or that he just wasn't smart enough and he had to use the globe. They wouldn't let him patent the map unless he used the globe coordinate system.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So the cool thing is flat earthers, again, not you. They've told me that Gleason had to make a true map because the globe was fake and he made a flat earth map, which is ridiculous. So what I'd like to, you know this, Austin, Jaron, you know this, but I want the audience to understand this, is that
Yeah, Gizmo, fuck off with your irrelevant comments. Just look what CK writ to you there. She's given you the link to subscribe to Gizmo. You are Gizmo. To Unfornicated. So when he goes live, you can go in and set him straight. Because obviously you can.
the flat earth maps that flat earthers use are actually just a projection of the globe, and it's called an azimuthal equidistant projection of the globe. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. This is a really cool website that everybody should be familiar with. It's called worldmapgenerator.com. And if you go to this site and you click on this second arrow here that says projection, you get all of the different projections of the globe here. So for example, we have the Mercator.
Isn't this the thing that he's showing here? Isn't this what those what are those pricks called? The Awake Team or something? What are they called? Oh, fucking them pair of dickheads with a beards. What, Awakenings or something? You know what I mean. Haven't they got a map that just changes all the time wherever they move the thing? Someone tell me. You all know more about this than me.
Projection, which a lot of people are familiar with. And then we have this one right here called the azimuthal equidistant. And if you click that one, you're going to say, huh, I've never seen that map before. An azimuth.
Awake Souls. That's what I'm talking about. Yep, this is their map. This is what they use.
Equidistant projection of the globe allows you to make any point on the planet that you want the center point. Okay? And so you don't recognize this map. It looks bizarre, right? But if I grab the North Pole and I bring it here to the center, oh my goodness, look at that. We have the quote unquote flat earth map. Now, Austin, you know this, but almost all flat earthers don't. They think this is an actual map of the earth when it's just a projection.
I'm nowhere near my super chat target tonight, so it's probably going to be just an hour and a half stream.
Of the globe.
Do you understand what projection is, though?
Asleep souls.
Do you understand that you could do many different projections, right?
Yes.
And if the Earth was flat, could you make a projection that is a globe?
Yeah, you probably could, but I can't visualize that.
Wait, we skipped the first step. So let's talk about how we got this map in the first place. We got latitude lines. That was the first step. So the way we get latitude lines is we look at Polaris and we take an elevation angle measurement, and then we draw a circle around the ground position below Polaris. So that's how we got it. We looked at Polaris.
What about the Southern Cross then? We can talk about, let's just go by Polaris. We won't go by the other point of rotation that's in the sky that we all just ignore and pretend isn't there.
We took measurements and kept going back, drawing concentric circles, right? And basically, you have to hijack a flat
JD Super Chat $4.99. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate it.
Earth. This is what the globe always has to do. It has to go into reality, treat the Earth like it's flat, step back out of reality, take all the data and say, no, I promise it's not flat though, and then put a globe assumption on top of it. So you take your measurement, you have your horizontal baseline extending all the way to the ground position underneath Polaris, right? So Polaris will be your zenith, 90 degrees. So you just have this long horizontal baseline, assumed, taking your elevation measurements, keep going back, you get the latitude system. Then they took that and wrapped it around the ball. Then...
Yeah, of course. Reverse engineered from flat to a ball. But we are the brains. Flat earthers are the brains of the world, but we can't figure out how to reverse engineer it back. Because even though we're the smartest people that are better than any PhD.
They wrapped it into a cylinder, flattened it out, and that's how we got the Mercator.
Gizmo's triggered because we're laughing at people. Yeah.
So the actual...
Sorry, Gizmo. Didn't realize there was a snowflake in the house.
Coordinate system itself, the latitude system, actually hijacked reality to like a plane Earth. And it's just a construct. It isn't reality, right? So now, of course, if you also should know plane Earth or flat Earthers, true Earthers, we say that the South is where everything is super suspect and super sketchy.
Oh, look. Jonathan, £2. A little something to help. Cheers, Jonathan. You shouldn't be giving me money to laugh at people, though. It pisses Gizmo off massively. Like, he's going to have nightmares tonight about it. Now, it's just pure bullying. And there's one thing he can't stand, it's a bully. That's why he goes around lives trolling. Don't you, Gizmo?
It should be completely the same. It should be symmetrical in the South, but it's not. And then we have huge magnetic declination corrections when people are navigating. They would have no idea. There are areas in the South you have to, your compass says north.
Don't chuck any water on Gizmo because then it'll create a few more of him.
Magnetic declination charts for your model say actually look 180 degrees the other way. Your compass is exactly opposite. So if you navigate using your compass, assuming a globe, making all these corrections.
There you go. Right, thank you, Gizmo. Thanks to Gizmo. Roger that has just given $5. I kicked in for a longer stream because Gizmo absolutely loves you. Gizmo, inadvertently making me money for laughing at people tonight. Oh, the irony, Gizmo. Thanks. Thank you, Gizmo. Please come to all of my streams. I could do with the cash for laughing at people. Why not?
You would never know. We don't know what's out in the Southern Ocean. We don't know if there's more land. We don't know the actual proportionate layout. People are navigating using magnetic declination. So maps don't prove reality, bro. Just a construct that had to use a flat Earth. And then they made it a law, a decree from the king that you could only use the globe if you make a map.
Okay, so here's what.
Gary McMahon. £2. Cheers, Gary. And thanks again, Gizmo. Gizmo's pretending now that he's winning because I'm saying his name. I'm winning because I'm making money saying your name. Yeah, I've well triggered him. I've triggered him into getting some money on his stream. Thanks, Gizmo. If you weren't here, I probably wouldn't have made anything tonight. Cheers.
I'm going to suggest. I have never found a map where the scale was wrong. And all of those.
If I say Gizmo more, will I make some more money? Gizmo.
And so
Gizmo,
my question for you, Austin, before we actually take a
Gizmo.
closer look at the quote-unquote flat Earth map, is why is there not a flat Earth map with a
Gizmo.
How could we fully map out the Earth if we can't even fully traverse south?
Love it.
And that does have it. Of course, there is a scale on.
JD, super chat. 199 pointing. Yes, exactly. At Gizmo. Thanks, Gizmo. Thanks, JD.
Map. Obviously, you make corrections in the south. It's called a legend.
If you're giving super chats, make sure that you mention Gizmo in the super chat.
Without doing that. Not even allowed.
Because then he's winning.
It isn't a victory. That's like me saying, okay, then let's keep the same energy. Okay, you used a globe and it was a globe first. Like, okay, we measured the Earth as if it's flat. Then you guys take all that data, stitch it together, step back, and claim it's actually a globe. Use plane survey data for all engineering, for everything. We fly planes like it's flat.
Gizmo, oh, I'm going to be buying a new house at this rate, Gizmo. 199 from JD, laughing. And I'm fornicated, thank you, mate. $10. Hey, Matt, which king? We threw out the king, except maps. I always point to laugh. Shiva experiment. Oh, yeah, this is something I've got to mention. The Shiva experiment call live stream this Saturday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern time. Flurfs can send any experiment to my email. That is Toon on that as well. I'm fornicated. And who else is on that panel? Is that what you're talking about? The actual panel thing is Flat Earth Dave on that panel, or what? Who's representing the Flurf side? I don't know. I'll be there if I can be. I don't know what time that is for me, but I'm very interested in that.
So if we start with the stationary flat Earth assumption, then that must be the truth.
But you didn't mention. You got to mention Gizmo on the super chats because then he's winning. Okay, remember that.
I mean, I honestly, you don't want to apply that same logic, right? But do you get the main point, bro? That maps are just concepts. No. Maps are not reality; that they're concepts, and that when we go to the south, we have to make huge magnetic declination corrections to be able to adequately navigate.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that I've never found a map that the scale was wrong. So I think that's significant. And the maps that I'm talking about, I'm not just talking about in the entire Earth. I'm talking about countries or states. So I'm going to give you an example right now, which is Australia. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So let me share this picture here.
When you say you've never found a map, are you talking about like the Mercator map? You think that the sizes of continents on the Mercator map are correct?
No, he didn't say that, Jaron. That was a desperate thing from Jaron there in his Flurf mindset that he used to have.
No, I'm talking about a map with a scale.
So Mercator doesn't have a scale?
If I've done that, hang on, I've got to do 2 more super chats here because Gizmo's all rolling in for Gizmo here. Thanks, Gizmo. I'm not going to give you any, but from Roger that, $5. Gizmo is a mong. Well, it doesn't matter. He's making me rich. Gizmo, can you come to all of my lives? From CK, Celine. Happy birthday for tomorrow. $4.99 from CK. Gizmo wants wank juice. Gizmo does. I think Gizmo probably gets plenty of wank juice, to be fair. Probably all over his own belly. Most days, I reckon, by the looks of things. Is it two? Have I done it? Have I got to the target? I think I might have done. Gizmo. Oh, and this now Gizmo's typical. This is such a typical Desbrick. Gizmo, you're so funny. Unintentionally, obviously. So now Gizmo's claiming victory because you lot are spending money. So because he's making Globers broke, Gizmo is now. So he's completely twisted it round because he looks like a fucking idiot. And he's actually made me a good night here by trying to be a troll. So now he's pretending to troll all of you guys.
I don't know if Mercator has a scale.
Okay.
So anyway, you guys, this is what us globe people believe Australia looks like. And I had to cut this out of Google.
Elder Bear and Bev still being incredibly unfunny in the chat there. Let's be Globers, Bev, okay. You suck me and I'll suck you because we're so funny by pretending to be Globe. That'll really wind everyone up.
Google Maps, but Google Maps has a scale. And then here is what the Flat Earth map says Australia looks like. So right off the bat, just from a simple logic standpoint, we should know that both of these cannot be right.
Gizmo's about to get an hard on.
Yeah.
Agreed?
Yeah, they're just a concept.
Well, maybe.
And I'll do that in a second.
Sure, that's what they are.
Right, we've got to do this thing with Australia here. So Gizmo's, where's that? Here you go. This is from Gizmo to all of you guys. Pay your daddy, boys. Yeah, thanks, Gizmo. I'm sure they're all like really fuming now that you've said that and so angry. Cheers, Roger. $5 from Rod Gizmo extending the stream. Thanks, Gizzy lad. Come anytime. Gizmo, you have single-handedly added half an hour to the stream. Thank you very much. So funny. Right, okay, let's play on because this bit's pretty good with Australia.
All right, so just for the audience who's never seen this before, I want you to take a look at the drastic difference that the globe people believe is the shape of Australia and the flat earth people believe is the shape of Australia. Flat earth maps make Australia into a hot dog. Now, I don't know if it's true, but people have told me because I'm new in this space that back in the day, flat earthers didn't think Australia was real, but I don't think that's the case anymore.
No
That
one
was
ever thought that.
never real at all.
Okay,
Not
all right,
one
good.
person.
I'm glad to hear that. So my question for you, Austin, is which one of
They absolutely did say that, by the way. Like I've come across flat earthers that said that Australia wasn't real. Granted, not recently. Here we go, Unfornicated with some more information. Super chat, $5 from Unfornicated. Me, Tuna, an engineer on Globe, an Aether cosplayer. Fanoy? Twatter Fluff. Who's the Twatter Fluff? And some guy I don't know. Who's the Twatter Fluff? Because I bet I know who it is. I know most of them on there. The Fluff Experiments with Scary Middle Schoolers. You should see. If you ever... is anyone on TikTok? Oh, no, sorry, Twitter. Yeah, I'm getting confused. Twitter, because it's called X now, isn't it? No, I don't know any Twitter Fluffs. But if you go to TikTok and you try and watch... There's a bloke called Son of Africa. And he... his experiments are amazingly bad. Like I'll put up tomorrow. I will put up a clip on Shorts of me laughing at him. I was literally in hysterics. What someone said about him in the chat. Mr. Microcosm, good to see you, mate. $5. Matt, be nice to Gizmo. We all know he's and closer. What do you mean? And lives in his mum's basement, only going upstairs occasionally to breastfeed. Possibly. I'm not gonna insult the guy. He's brought me some money tonight. I love Gizmo. I think we should all leave him alone. And his reverse psychology to try and stop people sending money really worked, obviously. So another great plan. Well done there, Gizmo.
these do you think best represents the actual size of Australia?
Great question, man.
I've always said I love trolls. Like I love trolls are the best because like you can do that with them. What I've just done with Gizmo there, and you can also when they comment on your videos, when you pin the comment, and then everyone can argue with the troll, and everyone then will see that loads of comments are on the video, and while they go and read the comments, the video's playing, and you're getting paid. Or you're getting, if you're trying to get monetized, you're getting the minutes in to get monetized. Trolls are very useful. People should always encourage trolls to come onto their videos and live streams. It's fantastic.
I don't know. Like I would say maybe somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
What about that? Because my answer remains the same here.
Somewhere in the middle. What a ridiculous. Because I've completely forgotten about this stream and I'm just seeing what I'm thinking of what I'm going to buy in my head instead. He's Gizmo. Gizmo, you are on my. I'm thinking every time I say Gizmo, I'm going to get paid. Witsit is saying that he thinks the shape of Australia is somewhere between those two. No, it's not. It's the one on the left here. That is the actual size, and it's about to be proven.
This is just a concept. It's a construct. We weren't even allowed to make but one type of map. You can't even freely and privately explore the Earth. Right? I put that in a rap one time. It's like, it's tragic every time the motto under attack is always a tactic where they're asking where the map is. If they lied about the Earth, what are you even asking?
Oh, so cringe.
Privately.
What's the cringing? Oh, I've done a rap. Let me tell you my rap. Oh, God, how do we not cringe at this? Macca! Love Macca. £5 from Macca. Just want to contribute. We'll watch later. Enjoy all. Cheers, Macca. But you didn't mention Gizmo there, so I'm sure he's just got soft again. But I'm sorry about that, Gizmo.
Freely explore the Earth. So
You've served your purpose.
I think it's wild that we would skip over. Can we verify the actual dimensions and curvature of the surface that this map purports to represent, and skip over all that stuff that would actually completely falsify this whole entire
Gizmo.
concept that's after the fact that you assumed
Gizmo.
and then say, look, I think the map works pretty good. It's like, I mean, actually, when they traveled in the South back in the day, assuming a sphere, they consistently got lost. Consistently, royal expeditions. They spent so many thousands of hours and days trying to figure out the South, and the South was not symmetrical as the North was, like they expected. So what did they do? They had to start sending out magnetic declination surveys and trying to correct to try to get it to match the globe. That's why when you go in the South,
Oh, fuck off with magnetic declination bullshit. Honestly. Yeah, it's magnetic declination, and that's why it looks 15 times as long as it does in reality, even though it's been measured. Yeah, Gizmo's getting roasted. Gizmo's doing that thing now where he's pretending he doesn't care anyway. I'm not leaving, so I'm just going to stay here, and you didn't beat me. I didn't lose. Yeah, you did, Gizmo. You look like a fucking idiot, but please keep typing to pretend you didn't, because it's hilarious, and it'll get me some more cash.
South, you're just navigating with corrections. So when people actually went to the South, when these maps were first being put together, it didn't work. We had to make gross corrections to them. So that's the unspoken truth here. And no one wants to talk about. The South is not the same as the North. It should be exactly the same.
Okay, cool. So back to Australia. So the one here on the left is
we'll get there in a minute, but I've got to do super. I always like to read my super chats out immediately, or as best I can immediately, because I don't want to forget about them, because people are very kind to contribute here. Big ups to Gizmo. That's from RG1. Thanks, Gizmo. And this is from Derek the Dullard. Harsh on yourself there, Derek. £5 from Derek. The downfall of Fluffdom is glorious to watch. It's brilliant watching the infighting and seeing them all turn on each other. Greetings from Brum. Brummy, are you a Villa fan or a Birmingham City fan? Or maybe not into football. I don't know. I've not been to Birmingham for ages. I was going to go to the Cadbury's factory not that long ago, but I never did.
The shape of Australia on the globe. The one on the right is the shape of Australia on every flat Earth map I've ever seen, including the Gleason map. And so, Austin, I'm going to show you right now what I think is proof that the one on the left is right and that the flat Earth map is wrong. Okay?
Okay, cool.
All right, cool. So we could easily figure this out. The easiest way, which you and I can't do.
Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. I got this is brilliant. I love it. I'm sorry that this has turned into the Gizmo stream, but we love to laugh at someone on these streams because that's the purpose of the stream. Gizmo, you know what's funny? I haven't said your name once. Yeah, you would if you got paid every time you did Gizmo. Gizmo, Gizmo, Gizmo. No one's paying you anything because you're dull as dishwater. Thanks, Gizmo. Gizmo, 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 Gizmo. Because what I really want is Gizmo in here saying my name. That would make my day. But he's not, so he's definitely won this battle.
How long it is, but we can't. But you know what we could do? We could do something close to that.
Gizmo, Gizmo, Gizmo.
Which is fly.
Pay me, pay me, pay me.
Fly over Australia. So I'm going to show you here. Here is a flight from Perth to Brisbane. And if we look at what we believe, what the globe people believe is the shape of Australia, we should know that the width is just slightly wider than the max height from top to bottom. And so this flight right here was 4 hours and 3 minutes from Perth to Brisbane. And then here's a flight. Okay. Here's a flight from Melbourne to Darwin. And it's 3 hours and 55 minutes. And that's from almost the northernmost point to the southernmost point. So we just went far west to far east, far north to far south. And what do you know? The distance of the flight is almost identical. It's only 8 minutes.
Unfornicated wants you to say his name, Gizmo. You should do it. Who's that? Someone, Celtic fan here myself from Yu-Gi-Oh! Scotland TTV. Is that your name? Yeah, Celtic are having a bit of a shit season for them. They usually win every single game in Scotland, but I noticed the other day there was trailing Aberdeen in the league.
That's literally how that program gets the speed. It's assuming the distance.
Hold on. Sorry. This is important. So going north to south and east to west on Australia, which our map would say should be about the same, but east to west is slightly longer. It's an 8-minute flight difference. So what are your thoughts on that?
Flights are consistently different times. There is no like specific exact time for flight.
Look at the routes though. Look at the routes. There to there and there to there. There to there, sorry. Like that would be 8 minutes different. On the one that you believe is true, it would be fucking ages. Like, how can you defend this? It's so fucking ridiculous.
Flights, and the way that these programs get the supposed speeds that the planes go is they.
Why do you have to put speeds in air quotes? Like speeds is a lie. This thing they call speeds. Speeds is a real thing.
Assume the distance and then they look at the time. You're saying that, it's not always 8 minutes. I could literally just Google it right now and I'll find one that is not the same time as.
I think everyone should chip in and buy Gizmo a wank juice.
So what are you suggesting? It should be grossly different if the Earth is flat? What exactly is your argument? The fact that they're 8 minutes apart, assuming a globe distance to get an assumed speed.
Yeah, Steve, I get that. Everyone hates Will because he says a flat Earth. A young Earth creationist, but he did a fantastic job of fucking trolling flat Earth. So I don't really care about anything else. If young Earth creationists were pricks like flat Earthers were, then it'd probably annoy me. But I've heard also that he's been on someone's channel and like actually quite willing to learn. So we shall see.
So
that's going to lead us right into the southern flights.
Perfect. So if you look right here, we have an average flight time as well. So I'm not changing anything. This one was 10 minutes before the average of 406.
Oh, thank you. Another super chat here for Gizmo here. Super chat $5 from Eddie Smith. Oh, how Gizmo. Cheers, Eddie. I think you'll find it's Gizmo though. That's seems to be more suited there to that name than Gizmo. Cheers, mate.
This one averages 409. So the average here, Austin, is a 3-minute difference. And just in case people are not following me, here is...
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, Max. Is that what he was talking about, evolution? It wasn't the age of the Earth. Yeah, Erica, somebody. I see a clip because he said something about Planet Peterson on there. I'll see it on a Planet Peterson video.
Here would be the flight paths on the Gleason map. And by the way, the Gleason map is the only flat Earth map I could find on the entire internet that actually has the names of cities on it, which is bizarre to me. And if you look, this flight right here is 2.5 times shorter distance than this one. So Austin, why are these flights both within 5 minutes of each other, 3 minutes of each other on average? What is your explanation?
That is not to scale. You have to apply a scale to the outer regions of the map. It's literally on it.
So
yeah, the scale on it is the globe scale.
A legend on the map.
Okay, so help me out here. Why can't you or Jaron or anybody else give us just a simple map of Australia? I'm not asking for the whole world. I'm not asking for you to go over the ocean. Why can't we just get a map of Australia that has the right scale and looks the right shape? Why?
Can we ask you though, what?
No, Jaron. You can answer the question. Why is there no flat Earths? Oh, I should have brought Jaron in for this today. I would have loved to have seen what Jaron thinks of previous Jaron, but I didn't really want to because he told me in a conversation that we had that he was very embarrassed about watching himself talking about stuff like this. So I didn't really, I thought it felt a bit awkward asking him to do it because it is embarrassing, isn't it? Like, look at the denial.
Every single map that's ever been made, every coastline that's been mapped has all been done by government money, kings and queens. There's no private person going out and building maps. But
oh, shut up. Look, really, you go measure it. People can just measure it. Like, just drive it and see if it's accurate. Like, it's insane.
You expect Austin and I to do that from our house? We're just supposed to go out and map the world for you. That's
no. Just help me understand why we can't get the proper shape of Australia when
I just told you.
We
If
already
you
have.
Give me $10 million,
billions of
I'll do it.
dollars and
Yeah,
millions
he does. I'm fornicated.
of
Okay.
people, and we can go out there and do it, and then map entire coastlines and make very specific physical measurements, and not just make globular assumptions as we then beg the question of a spherical distance, and then we can't really figure out nautical miles and distances, and like.
So where does the shape of Australia come from on the globe side? Where is that?
Yeah, it was pre-TFE. Which is why I'm showing it, because like these ridiculous like Vlad and these other pricks are all claiming that this was 10 years in the making and they was all in on it together. I just want to, because I noticed that Twatzoid loves to cover my stuff now as well. So hello Twatzoid, by the way. Please cover this, and then please explain at this moment why these people are either not in on it with each other at all, because they're completely having a debate and won't even let each other finish. It's a proper argument. They're quite annoyed with each other, or that either that or they all deserve an Oscar for this acting and pretending that they're not friends.
Coming from? Are you guys saying that that's made up, or what? Where does it come from?
No, you guys have those very resources that we're discussing, assuming that the Earth is a sphere the whole time. And what happens now is in
Yeah, it's all about the resources. That's what it is.
2024, people can come along and be like, look how good our map is. Oh, but let's talk about what actually happened, which is that it consistently failed. It didn't work. When they went to the South, assuming the Earth was a sphere, all of the world's bestsellers says this does not work. South is not symmetrical to the North as it should be. We are getting lost. We're off by 200 miles a day sometimes. We're off by tons and tons and tons when we go to the South, assuming that it's actually a sphere. So what do? They had to come up with different corrections for the South, so that over time, with an insane amount of resources, talking about actual English royalty.
And you can just say magnetic declination, and it's going to be your reason why Australia looks like that on a flat Earth map, when it clearly looks nothing like that. And the flights that he's talking about prove it's nothing like that. Why can't you just say, I think the Earth's flat, but I think Australia is still the same as what the globe says it is?
And stuff. Finally, you got it to work.
I want to know why you won't say that. It's because then you'd have to justify how that could be possible.
Where now, if someone starts traveling out there, assuming it's a sphere, they would be completely off. What do? Make magnetic declination corrections, and it will correct them to get where they need to go. So
Oh, fuck, I've not had any money for 2 minutes. Gizmo, 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 gizmo.
you can think it's a sphere, but if you actually traveled there just assuming it's a sphere, it wouldn't work. That's the truth of the map that no ball earther will ever say. You'll never hear any of that.
Why do they think that's an insult as well? Ball earth. Oh, yeah, you believe in a ball. Do I? Okay. That's my night's sleep fucked worrying about that insult.
Information come out of Professor Dave's mouth, which is curious, right? Because that's just a historical fact.
He mocks Professor Dave, but then he went on to debate Professor Dave and couldn't even answer the ceiling fan conundrum, and pretended that you could look at it from different places in the room and it would be spinning a different way.
Fact that when you go to the South, you couldn't properly traverse it.
Gizmo, 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 gizmo.
Assuming it's a sphere, unless you made immense corrections for magnetic declination as you navigate. That's incredibly important.
Okay, so Austin, I would be content if you and Jaron would admit right now that the globe shape of Australia must be way closer to the truth than the Gleason map because of these flights.
No, I'll never say. But if you want to,
Jaron, just admit it. Come on, you can do it.
The Earth for you, to draw the map for you, then you just need to get us the source code for GPS and explain to me why it's hidden by the United States government. It's just a GPS.
Say that, Gizmo.
Basically, it just tells you where you're at. But you get this: if it is changing things and telling people to adjust
No hate. Please come again.
for the globe, then we would not know that, and they would hide the GPS source code, which is exactly what happens. So give me that source code, and I'll be able to tell you all the transformations that they've made from the real Earth to the globe Earth.
I don't have that obviously. But again, I feel like you guys should just be willing to admit that if these two flights right here have an average flight time within 3 minutes of each other, that those distances are about the same. Why can't you admit that?
Well, they're 300 miles different,
on the
though.
speed that they travel. One's going north and one's going east.
Well, it tells you that right there. You got a 300-mile difference, but you're
Oh, the desperation. I actually did bring this point up with Jaron, so it's not like I'm trashing him when he's not here. Like, if you go back a couple of live streams ago and I was talking to him, I actually said this, the Australia thing, why did you not accept it? And he just said it was a thing in his head to just refuse everything. So he was honest about it.
saying they're within minutes of each other. So how is the plane doing
So
that?
you're saying one's traveling way faster than the other one, right?
Well, hold on for a second. The planes travel very fast, and so
Yeah, he does, Donnie. I know he said that to me.
a 10-minute difference is significant on a plane.
Are they traveling at different speeds?
Every flight is going to have different speeds due to, wind resistance, headwinds, tailwinds, jet streams, all that stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there's like a 300-mile difference. So that means if they're close to the same time, then one's going faster than the other on average. So what would be a logical explanation for one of them going faster than the other one on average, meaning consistently?
Distance.
Is this really where they're going? The flights must be going, like the pilots are in on it. They're told to take a slower route. They're told to slow down the plane when they go this way, but to speed up the plane when they go. So when you go this way across Australia, you can go really fast. But when you go this way, you've got to go really slow. Fucking really? This is really the defense to this?
Very simple.
No.
It's Austin. It's right here. 2,200.
I just asked you if one of the planes is going fast.
Crypto roast. Thank you, mate. £2 crypto roast. Soz Gizmo, he said your name. I don't make the rules. Exactly. I wish, if only if it was that easy in life. None of us would ever work, would we? If you could just say Gizmo and get paid. Gizmo's made my dreams come true tonight. I love trolls. Trolls are the absolute best.
Faster than the other one. What would be like it's traveling faster, a faster speed than the other one? And what would be a logical explanation as to why one plane is consistently traveling a faster speed than the other one?
I don't know about consistently one traveling faster than the other.
You just said it says right there average time.
Is pretty weak.
You said average.
Well, again, I feel like you guys don't want to make a simple admission here.
Absolutely.
It's very simple. These distances visually right now on this globe map look about the same, and guess what? The flights are only 10 minutes difference, which is exactly what we would expect if these maps are accurate. I feel like you guys are afraid to be like, you know what? That might be the shape of Australia. You are afraid to say that. And there's no reason for you to be afraid to say that.
Dude, I wouldn't care at all what the shape of Australia.
Yeah, I wouldn't care at all, but I'm not going to admit it. Doesn't make any difference, but I'm still not going to admit it. They're so careful. Like Austin's now never talks about flat Earth hardly. Maybe on Discord, but not on YouTube. But not that I've seen anyway. Jaren is not a flat earther anymore. But the pretense that they're not frightened to talk about anything whilst being terrified to talk about anything. Because they know if they make a claim about anything, it can be instantly disproved and then they look ridiculous and lose credibility. So just saying, I'm going to falsify the globe by saying this, but I don't need to make a claim in retaliation to that. So I can't be attacked. I can't be falsified, but I will falsify this by not understanding shit.
Australia is, bro, because it's actually the distances and the traveling between different continents and stuff that is important.
We'll get there.
Magnetic declination corrections and
I don't know, Bruce. I'd feel quite bad not fading Gizmo now after all of the dollar I've made out of him today.
Completely hide the South. What I'm making a specific point to you.
But I'm still not going to fade him because he's a prick.
Is your example not invoking one of the planes traveling faster?
He's obviously still sitting there as well. Just didn't want to. Just got annihilated in the chat. So he's obviously just sitting there crying and pretending he's not there anymore.
Than the other one?
Not necessarily.
What?
If these two planes have the exact same speed the entire time and all things are equal, the greater distance,
Twatzoid would be there somewhere as well. Everyone say hello to Twatzoid.
which we have here, could lead to the greater flight time. It's that simple. So anyway, we can move on. But,
yeah, but it's 300 miles is 300 miles in just 2 or 3 minutes. So what do you have there? What's the difference in time? 8 minutes? I don't remember what you said.
The difference on this particular flight was 8 minutes. Now that distance is not correct, by the way. This distance, I don't want to get into this. This is called the Great Circle distance, and that's a straight line on a globe between 2 points. You'll notice here every flight varies in going up and down, and that's due to winds and things of that nature, trying to get the most efficient flight time. So these distances are not right, but the actual flight time is right.
Do you know that the computers basically will decide where the planes will fly, or do you think it's pilots steering the wheel of the plane?
No, computers do almost everything.
Okay, so imagine that I've got a little 2 toy cars and I'm starting in New York and I want one to get to San Francisco and one to get to Colorado. Could I program them so that the one gets to Colorado after the one gets to San Francisco? Is that possible?
If you vary the speeds.
Saturday,
so
4
by varying
p.m.
the speeds of planes, you could easily get them where you want them to be at a certain time. Now, tell me,
I
have you
should
ever flown and left late from your flight? You guys are getting on, it's about 30 minutes late, 40 minutes late. Do you get where you're going on time?
Unfornicated, I should be there, 4 p.m. That should be all right for me. As long as I'm awake. I have a bit of a sleep in the afternoon on a Saturday because I start very early to work. 4 p.m. should be good. Everybody, is that on your channel? Unfornicated? Where is that? Is that on your channel? Is that on Toons or who? Is that on Shiva's? Are you all streaming it?
Sometimes.
If they're all streaming it, go and watch it on Unfornicated's channel.
Yeah. So you know why that is? It's because planes can get up to different levels and get to places. The computer will make sure they get there on time, even if the plane leaves 40 minutes late.
Well, they can't guarantee that. It has to do a lot with weather.
That's it, Donnie. Yeah. The moon stuff is very funny. I don't think I'm going to get there today though, but I'll carry on with this on Sunday.
They don't guarantee it, but there's different flight levels that have different speeds that allow them to get up there. And they're always going to have a buffer time because they imagine how everything would fall apart if one plane arrived late and then everybody on that plane misses their connection. It would be a disaster. But we don't have that. For the most part, planes get
Yeah, everyone, don't watch it on Shivers. Watch it on Unfornicated's channel.
where they're going on time. For the most part, you're right. Barring 3-hour late departures or bad weather, but for the most part, planes are automatically controlled by computers. So you could easily have planes that are programmed to get to that location in Perth, from Perth to whatever you say, Brisbane. Is it Brisbane in the East Coast? So you can easily program them to get there in the times needed. And the planes, you can laugh all you want, but in your example, you just showed you have a plane getting 300 miles per hour further in just 8 minutes more.
The pretense that somehow this is down to the pilots going as slow as possible to pretend that the Earth is a fucking flat pancake. Insanity.
How's that possible?
No.
I mean, I don't know why the point's not being understood, brother.
It's
We're
okay.
saying that planes constantly change altitude. They optimize air resistance, right? They go different speeds. They just try to get there roughly on schedule. They'll slow down and speed up.
Why is anyone in chat even bothering talking to the Unchuckle brothers? The two people, the two flat earthers pretending to be globe believers. They're probably messaging each other on the sly. Did you see what I just typed? Yeah, I did. Yeah, it was real funny. They both like about 50.
As needed. They're not always just trying to get there as fast as they can. That's not how it works. And I'm asking you, why are they consistently going different speeds? Jaron just gave you the logical answer for it. And when we start to go from
Let's get another target going.
But I didn't want to let you
Juice.
respond because I jumped in. So
No. It's all good, man. I'm ready to move on. I just want people to take one last good look at this.
I definitely got there,
and
though.
the audience can decide, does this map with the names of the cities and the territories look like that's the right shape of Australia, or does this hot dog looking thing look like the right shape of Australia?
Wink.
And you can make the decision yourself.
I think it's kind of crazy that you don't get the point, though, which is that they assume the Earth's a sphere, therefore they have distances to these places, and then they have a certain schedule, and the plane's engineered to match the certain time it needs to. That's how it works. They go faster and slower all the time. And actually verifying ground speed of a plane is very difficult, certainly when you start getting over water, which is the easy reputation of the southern flights. But I will say, I didn't really know that this was the agreement. I'm pretty laid back, honestly, because there's nothing that a globe earther can
just started a new goal. 5 super chats for wank juice funds for Gizmo.
Like mix in some arguments or something instead of just trying to do a list, because the whole list can be nullified really quick. Like, Jaron, do you by chance have the Canagoo video handy?
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Jaron,
I just want to know what you honestly think about this video.
shit, what's going on here?
Cool. Does that have
Jaron
to be
just said that on his other one, but this Matt Canagoo thing that they're going to talk about
Even though
now.
I don't know the exact numbers. I don't know if Jaron does, but
Yeah, I know the exact numbers.
Hold on.
I want to go through the principle.
They're going to do this Mount Canagoo thing. Jaron actually addressed this when I spoke to him. I can't remember what he said. It was just refraction, obviously. On this certain day, there was high refraction, and that's the explanation for this.
Yeah, you can start to
So
explain to
I'll lay it out for a second. So obviously, if the Earth is a sphere with a radius of 3,959 miles, that means it's curving at a certain rate. You can't say, I don't care about the size. No, but
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Because you're a flat earther, not a big glober.
because the map you just invoked wouldn't be real if the size wasn't correct. Your distances between places wouldn't be correct. Your gravity wouldn't be correct. Your day and night cycle wouldn't be correct. That number has to be exactly right. You can't be claiming you're going to send satellites into space or doing anything because they use a radius of orbit, which is actually a distance above the surface, added to, of course, the radius of the Earth. Okay, so we went out and tested that number because we knew if that number is provably wrong, all of these other claims, reifying and presupposing that number, are also intrinsically wrong. The falsification of the radius value is the falsification of the entire model, right?
Cheers, Max. Take care.
Right? Basic geometry.
Okay, so
This
this
isn't
is
science, it's just geometry.
you see it up there, right?
So, yeah, so
Okay.
watch it. Now, this is a location that people can go out and make this observation on a specific day.
Mhm.
I think it's 2 days, isn't it? Is it like 2 different days?
Yeah, 2 different times a year, a couple days. I
Different
think.
times a year based on where the sun sets, because of course the sun changes its position in the sky throughout the year, right? Has an ecliptic path, and you guys claim that that's because the Earth is tilted. We say no, the sun just moves in the sky, right? And so
You
based
guys
on
do
where it's-
not just say the sun moves in the sky. I think that's a little bit disingenuous.
Well, what we say is,
Is it
you see
under
how
the
the sun
dome?
is moving in the sky? It's moving in the sky, and you guys claim actually it's sitting still. It just looks like it's moving because we're moving, and we feel like we're sitting still.
Is it under the dome? Is it in the sky?
I think it's in layers. It doesn't matter.
In liars!
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It says it, realizes it sounds ridiculous, and says it doesn't matter. Apparently, CK missed me reading out her super chat, so there you go. $4.99 Apple device from CK there. Gizmo wants wank juice. Yeah, I think he does. $4.99 there. I think he does. He's probably going to gargle with it and spill some of it down his chin. I reckon, possibly. I don't know what we think about that. Maybe I'll get banned. Sorry, YouTube.
The sun moves over a stationary plane. You guys claim, sure, it looks that way, but it's just an illusion. But that's not my point. My point is that we know that the sun has an ecliptic path. It changes throughout the year. We have an analemma, right? Mm-hmm. So now the sun's going to set in a specific place at a specific time of the year, and people can travel from all around the world and come out here and make this.
There's a fantastic claim, and I think the sun's in layers. Because I can't explain anything it does, I'm just going to say liars. And all of the idiot flat earthers that believe me will go, yeah, liars, without having any idea what he's talking about. But they'll go full of confidence to X or to the Twitter, and they'll say liars. That's what I'll think.
Observation. So if we can, yeah, maybe play it out and make sure you can see it.
It's playing. Can you see that? The sun
exactly.
With the mountain in front of it?
I see it, yeah.
Right. So
Arnold, member for the month. Cheers there, Arnold. Slow the plane down or they'll know it's flat. That's the claim they're making. It is that is literally that. Gizmo has not left. Gizmo didn't leave. He's still here. Look.
This is the Canigou Peak, which is about 9.
Send this wankers. Gizmo, I thought you was going. Gizmo, you out yourself all the time. Yeah, I'm gonna go now. I've got things to do. You ain't got nothing to do ever. And he sits there. I knew if I mentioned him enough, he'd get triggered and come back and make me some more money. Cheers, Gizmo.
9,000 feet high, and you're standing about 1,000 feet from where you're at. This is supposed to be several thousand feet behind the curve. Now, what your model believes is that things are lifted up into the
Gizmo, I bet you've got the rest of your life to spare.
Sky for us and displayed way higher than they should be. Every time you see the sunset, actually, the sun's already set. Every time you see the sun rise, it's actually further below the Earth than you see it. They just tell us that things are magically looming up. Here's a better picture right here. Watch this. Now, any other time of year, let me get a little better one. This one right after it's better. Okay, so here, any time of year, you would just look out there and you would see nothing. People would tell you that this horizon is the edge of the Earth. But on this particular day, twice a year, every year, the sun sets behind it, and all of a sudden we see Canigou is there. So it doesn't waver. It doesn't rise and set. It doesn't sometimes be seen and sometimes not. It's always there. So you have
like I have another video where it shows it a little bit longer. This may play a sound though. And we can share it because I'm trying to figure out what a logical explanation is for this because there isn't one.
And the other thing that I think is important, Austin, is to go over the
Why does Witsit either look sunburnt or flustered there? I can't make up my mind which.
The adoption thing. Because again, we're finding this all the time, that unless we have the answer for him, then
I can't believe Gizmo's here and I'm not getting paid. It's quite annoying.
he's just going to continue to believe in the globe. He feels like if we don't have the reason why something is, then that means the globe must be true. So.
Yeah, like, do you agree with the logic that if I falsify your claim, I don't have to come up with new answers for everything else that you came up with inside your claim before yours is falsified? Falsification is independent of replacement. They're two separate things.
Yeah,
That's the most cowardly position that flat earthers have ever taken. I don't have to have my own. Nothing has to work for me. I don't care. I don't have to give any evidence ever. I'll just falsify. Well, I'll just falsify the flat earth. There's 2 points of rotation in the sky and the sun goes around the South Pole. 24 hours. There you go. False.
I'm open to being falsified that the earth is not a sphere.
Right. So like if I went and I looked in my mom's closet and I found that there were adoption papers and it says like the date I was born, it has a DNA paternity test, all this, it shows that those are not my real parents. I was adopted right when I was born. No. And my mom and dad took me to the hospital who I thought they were, whatever. I go up to you and I say, bro, you're not going to believe this, man. My whole life is a lie, dude. Those are not really my biological parents. I was adopted. And you're like, what? No way, man. There's no way. Everyone knows those are your parents. What do you think? Everyone's in on the lie? What do you think? The church is in on the lie? You think the school's in on the... I'm like, no, bro. They also believe they're my parents. But I'm just saying, look.
What a ridiculous...
This is the evidence. Look, they're not my parents. And then you say, well, who are your real parents? I don't know, dude.
That's got nothing to do with this at all. What a stupid thing to say. This is Roger, $5 because Gizmo came back. All he needs now is a membership. We love our little Mogwai. Mongwai. Love it. Exactly. Cheers, Gizmo.
That's a really good question, but I haven't figured that out yet.
Mhm.
No, I'm just know
I wouldn't be at all surprised if Gizmo was flat side. I wouldn't be at all surprised.
that they're not. Here's the evidence proving that they're not. And then you say, you know what, Austin, I'm not going to believe
He's about as witty and he's about as easy to trigger. He's got as thin skin, just like flat side or twat side.
that those are not your real parents until you can tell me who your real parents are. That would be absurd, right?
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Wait, you get the analogy, right?
Yeah, it's fine. Can we move on?
We can
exactly
move back to
what
Canagoo. That falsifies the radius value of the Earth.
Okay.
That,
Go ahead and share it, Austin.
Unfortunately, guys, I don't know anything about the radius value of the Earth, so I can't talk about it.
that's the whole debate, brother.
I'm
That's the
sorry,
whole
man.
debate.
I signed up to debate whether or not the Earth is a sphere. Nothing to do with the size of the
Yes.
Earth.
What, you said the size of the sphere?
Nothing to do.
Gizmo, you don't have to pay for a lifetime sub. Come on. You don't pay to sub, you pay for membership.
I don't know anything about the size of the Earth. Like it says right there, a conversation on the shape of the Earth. That's what I'm trying to discuss here.
Oh, Gizmo, you got more fans here, mate. Sorry. I know it's pissing you off, but good. Daniel Williams, New Zealand, $8.99 New Zealand dollars. TFE taught us that Flurfs will accept any explanation as long as it's not a globe. Gizmo for Prez. Gizmo, you're getting some fans here, mate. Maybe has Gizmo got anything on his channel worth watching? I've probably got nothing on there. He's probably just like a nameless, faceless troll, isn't he? But if he has, go and have a look at it and sub it, and maybe we can take the piss out of Gizmo on the next stream. Maybe.
That's what
Here, and I
that's what
dropped
we're
the
talking
video for you in the Telegram.
Oh, sorry,
I just got to
I didn't know
explain this to you, man, okay? You cannot say you don't care about the size. I just explained why. If you're claiming it's a sphere, if it is a sphere, in order to explain things like the sun sets, all of the stuff we see, in order to invoke that Australia map you just used, your entire list requires that size be correct.
That size is correct. It's been measured constantly. People drive it all the time. I was speaking to a truck driver from Australia the other day that was confirming the size of Australia.
So I don't know why you're saying it absolutely does. I'll explain each one specifically. So, like, okay, let me find your screenshot again. Your satellites, for example, all the stuff about satellites. You got Himawari, you got satellites are real, you got the ISS are real, right? All of those things require that the radius value of the globe model be true, because what they claim to do is orbit a sphere, and they have to know the radius of that orbit so that they can get a specific velocity and angular momentum to move around it. Perpetually free fall. They have to find their gravity pocket. So they need a radius of orbit, meaning the radius of their orbit around the Earth, right? So
I don't know why people if I ever speak to Witsit, I wouldn't even bother with this shit that he talks about. It's just like, tell me why the horizon doesn't just blur into the distance. If you can't do that, it ain't flat. Fuck off, Witsit. End of argument.
the central axis, they have to know the distance. In order to know that, you have to have your altitude above the surface, and you have to have the distance from the surface to the center of the Earth. So you need the radius of the Earth and then the altitude above the surface to get your radius of orbit. You couldn't put any satellites in space moving around the globe unless the radius value of the globe was correct. That's like literally you couldn't do any of the claims of space without it. That's just one example. You couldn't even have day and night cycle. You couldn't have your seasons. You couldn't have sunsets
God
at all,
almighty.
right? Because they're all based on that value. That is the geometry claim. That is the shape claim.
I'll definitely look into that, but I do believe I can demonstrate for the audience tonight that the Earth is a sphere. Do you want me to say anything about this sun and this mountain?
Yeah, I want you to tell me what
Yeah.
what are we seeing then? You have to believe then that this mountain, which is behind this line, if this line is the globe horizon, then this mountain is underneath it.
Gizmo's just said this is his first day on YouTube. If this is his first day on YouTube, then that's definitely somebody with a grudge that's just created an account pretending it without the balls to talk as themselves. Oh, well, great.
And it's being lifted somehow magically to be shown to
Well,
us.
I'm glad you created the account anyway, Gizmo. Thanks a lot.
Video all the way through so
Sure.
like everyone can see.
And I mean that from the top of my heart.
You
I
can
don't-
go there. You can go there on a predicted day because of where the sun sets physically in reality.
that
You
mountain.
can see.
You don't even want to look
Is
at it.
that
Look
not
at
the
that
real
mountain.
mountain there? You have
Okay,
to.
so hold on, guys.
Yeah.
Can I respond?
Yeah.
I can't talk to this really at all. Okay. So number one, I'm not familiar with the mountain. I'm not familiar with the distances. I'm not familiar with any of that stuff. But I'm going to answer. I'm not going to deflect here. Okay.
And you can
So-
humor us if you want.
Paul, Jaron actually spoke to me. If you're talking about this Mount Canagoo thing, Jaron spoke to me about this I believe it was last Wednesday or something like that. It was last Wednesday.
Let's just pretend that what we're saying is true. That it
Yeah.
mathematically it's supposed to be behind it.
He said he was embarrassed.
Okay.
I'll just humor you with this sphere here. Okay. So this sphere has this little metal thing on here. And if I go like this and I slowly turn up right here, you can see the metal, even though the horizon is way in
Steve, Gizmo started his YouTube journey in the wrong place. He'd never admit it though. It's the right place for me. I love it. I wish everyone would start their YouTube journey like Gizmo has. Fantastic.
Front here.
Of course.
So that it's possible that mountain is like this, and you can.
Yeah, but they did unfornicated. 3/4 of the mountain is missing in this picture. Exactly, and that is why Witsit, before addressing this, went on about the radius. That the radius is important because he knows if the Earth was flat, you'd see this entire mountain. So he has to pretend that the only thing that matters is the radius of the our paradigm, as he calls it. So yeah, that's his out. He doesn't care that most of it's obstructed.
See it, even though the horizon is lower because of how tall it is. That's
yeah, but we know. Yeah,
No, we know the
exactly.
height.
You're right. But we know exactly what the math is, right?
Well, I don't.
Okay, but we're okay. Now we said assume that we're getting the math correct. Okay, which is that the globe Earth says that there should be thousands of feet of curvature blocking these mountains. That is the actual situation. All the globe veterans would say that this is refraction. They would say that the mountain
is
not really there. It's an illusion. It's being lifted up from behind the Earth.
Yes.
Now, here's a couple problems with that.
No, there isn't.
So coincidentally, the refraction always happens on the day that the sun sets right behind the mountain to give us the silhouette.
Refraction always happens because it's over water.
What a coincidence that the atmosphere conspires with the Earth to deceive everyone that it's flat. And the mountains are like, we're going to trick them. We'll make that refraction happen on the specific days every year based on the path of the sun, that the sun sets below the mountain, behind the mountains.
Is that the Earth curve calculator they've brought up there? I'll do that myself if they give me the actual figures.
Even worse than that, you would have to, that means that the silhouette, the shadow, is being refracted. And that means the sun and the mountain are both going to have to be refracted together to give you that silhouette. So then you have to claim that the sun is also being refracted the exact same amount as the mountains.
Yeah, I
it
apologize,
just debunks
guys.
the whole globe, bro. It debunks the whole conversation.
right here-
May, but honestly, guys, like I'm not a good person to talk to this about because I just am not familiar with all the math, and I really want to make sure that we get through my list because I don't want you guys to be accused of changing the topic, talking about something that I don't know anything about, just to avoid having to deal with my list.
No, we'll deal with the list, but I think that it's important that if we are seeing things that can't be seen geometrically on a globe, and their answer is refraction, and Austin just told you why.
But now that's your answer. I'm not going to give Jaron a hard time because he's walked all of this back, so that's fine.
That doesn't seem to work. I would just hope you would have some explanation or answer. I guess you just believe that. That's
No.
And you're saying you're open to you being wrong?
Yeah, of course I'm open to being wrong. And by the way, I'm willing to look into this, but I don't want to waste our time on this discussion. I'd rather go look into it and spend a few hours and then.
Michael, you're absolutely right. The fact that they're talking about a sunset and the sun setting, now it doesn't even matter about the mountain. The sun is setting. They claim, it goes away and you can bring it back with a flow of 1 million. Obviously not. It's setting in that picture.
Reconvene on it. Sure,
that's cool. I understand. I'm making a point to actually looking at all the other stuff that assumes that value.
Crypto roast foiled again. New conspiracy. Gizmo is actually Matt's missus in the other room engaging in the chat to pop up his head tap meme. I love head tap meme. Yeah, that's exactly who he is. Bit of Gizmo. I've always said this, that people should... There's so many people that get put off of being creators because they're worried about trolls. They're worried about what people might say to them, whatever. I always say this: trolls are your best friend. Use trolls. Trolls are your best friends. They're such sad little fucks that you can get them to dance all fucking night for you and actually benefit from it. It's brilliant.
True would be the waste of time. But it's all good for this specific intent. For intents and purposes, we're having a conversation. You have a list. It's cool. I get it. I understand in that context. But in the context of actually trying to figure out what's going on, actually just assuming all these other things about space requiring the actual size of the Earth number would be the waste of time if the number's wrong. So.
And as a preacher, I mean, you recognize that we are being lied to on massive levels. And if there was a lie out there that was keeping people away from the creator by creating this magical science that has given us evolution, given us the age of rocks and all these wonderful things, right? And I'm sure you've been told the lies too. Have you been told that Copernicus gave us his book on his deathbed?
No.
Oh, you've never been told that?
No.
That's what they say, but it's not true. He was presenting to the Pope about...
Oh, I finally managed to trigger Elder Bear as well.
Matt's mister is under the desk.
Yeah, well done, Elder Bear. Yeah, it's funny. It's probably the funniest thing you've said, to be fair.
Heliocentricity 10 years before he died, so that's another lie that they tell us. And
It's better than all of your wank attempts at humour about. We think it's the globe.
if you start adding up all these lies, I mean, do you know about Edwin Hubble telling us that the universe is expanding? And then when they asked him, he says, "Oh, we have to stay away from the absolute horror of a unique position. It must be avoided at all costs." So this is what science
Bev's that annoying scouse wanker, isn't he? I think. If I've got the right person. That really irritating, punchable voice.
is telling us. It has to be avoided that we are the center of the universe, even though every observation tells us that we are. And you don't find that appalling as a preacher? That we are the, listen again, observations tell us we're the center of the universe. Period. Can't be debunked. Yet, we are led down a path that leads us to spinning. Do you know how fast we're moving right now? 1.2 million miles per hour. That's what you expect us to believe.
That's an actual.
Oh, shut up, mate. Honestly. Jaren going on about the speeds now. Like it's really it's kind of baffling to me that a year or so ago that he didn't think that was a stupid thing to say, but now he sees clearly that it is. Witsit always knew that it was, but it was profitable for him. If only I could have told that Gizmo, Witsit could have just got Gizmo in all of his lives and he'd have made a fucking fortune.
Hubble quote, man. He says that the observations show that the Earth seems to imply the Earth occupies a central position.
See, look at Elder Bear now. Elder Bear tried very hard to not be triggered, but he just can't keep it in anymore.
Matt's gay. He's gay.
Cheers, Elder Bear. Hilarious.
And that central Earth can never be disproven. But because of the horror of a unique and special position, we must avoid it. A unique position is intolerable, and we will avoid it at all costs unless we have no other
I love it when trolls fail.
choice, even though that's what the evidence suggests, and we can never disprove it. So they're actually philosophically biased against the idea of creation. That's literally what the Copernican principle is. That's what he's trying to tell you, is like, don't you agree that's not very scientific?
Gizmo, you're going to thank these pair of bellends for taking the heat off of you.
Don't you think that's kind of weird?
Yeah, if we're being lied to, I'd want to know about it. But if we could just get to my stuff on the shape of the Earth,
All right,
I
let's
really
get
don't
to
want to run out of time.
Or we just debunk the shape of the Earth? Or we,
Yeah, move him on, Will. He's trying desperately to not go through his list.
we can go ahead. I mean,
Not yet.
all right,
Okay.
let's go to lunar eclipses.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I got the wrong bloke. Curious debunks. I don't know. There was some annoying scouser that I don't know what Bev. I don't really pay much attention to twats, to be honest.
We're gonna get to your southern flights.
Okay, that's my
I know
favorite. All
I
right.
know it's your favorite, bro.
All right, lunar
Okay.
eclipses.
Yeah,
Awesome. So, what is a lunar eclipse on the flat Earth model?
good question. I don't know.
Is that
I can tell you a few possibilities.
Good question. I don't know. Funny how when anyone says to him, I don't know, he laughs and says, "You don't even know your own model." But when he says it, it's just got to accept it.
okay?
There can just be something else in the sky that causes it. There could be electromagnetic polarization. So, like if you take polarized lenses, have you ever heard of the Venn diagram paradox? Called the
No.
quantum Venn diagram. So if you take like a lens, like polarized lenses,
Oh, here's a new one. I've not seen you before, I don't think, mate. Joe H. $10 from Joe H. Found your channel last week. I've been catching up on the last few years. Funny stuff. Cheers. Thank you, mate. Cheers, Joe. Appreciate that. There's some money I got there without Gizmo's help. That's quite rewarding.
say you stack one, and then if you put another one and tilt it to 90 degrees, it'll block out all the light, right? So like the light goes through the lens, put another one, it'll turn black. You add a third one, it will come back, right? That debunks the photon, just side note. But anyway, my point is when you take the lens and you're twisting the other one, it'll slowly turn to like looking exactly like an eclipse does. So if there's electromagnetic polarization, that could happen. Also, that whatever could be, blocking the light doesn't have to be a circle, because if it's a circle, then its shadow will automatically be a circle, even if you put like a cylinder in front of it or a block in front of it, right? We've shown demonstrations of that. So that's a couple. There are ancient conceptions of what it is. It could just be a cycle itself that's charging. It could have a relationship to the sun. Jaron, do you want to throw one in?
I was just gonna say,
Yeah, help me out, Jaron. I could destroy them all on my own, but I'm going to bring the moderator in to say something.
I'm not making the positive claim at all here.
go into your garage tonight and take two spheres
I'm not making a positive claim.
and then shine a light and make an eclipse from one sphere to the other, and you'll notice that it doesn't match what we see in the sky. When you have two spheres, one sphere shadowing the other, you get this ellipse, kind of real elongated part of the shadow. Then it becomes a circle, and then as it leaves, it becomes
I don't know, CMS. I doubt that he does, to be honest.
elongated again. That's how a sphere on another sphere would work. That's not what we see when we see eclipses. We see whatever you want to call that, the little crescent move across, never gets elongated, never goes back the other way.
Yeah, I guess you asked us if what is it on a flat Earth? Okay, this is the actual proper answer. We don't know. We would have to speculate. We know we can't independently verify what that would be, and we try not to make definitive claims like that because that is fallacious, and that's what your model does. But do you agree that if we were able to falsify your model's claim of eclipses, I did not need to replace it to falsify it? I think that's an important
Coward.
part. You agree that it's a simple question. You agree that falsification is independent of replacement?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you
Okay,
see how
cool.
this matches the whole being adopted thing. You said I'm not doing that, and then you just did it.
No.
Well, he just
I didn't do it.
He didn't do it. To
I
me.
asked the question.
Yeah, that's true. He asked us what it is. We're telling you we don't have to make definitive claims.
Okay.
Cool.
You explain the globe Earth claim and why you think why it's real and how it
Okay.
proves the globe.
All right. So what I'm going to do to start, because until I got into all this stuff, I actually didn't even understand fully the difference between a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse. So I want to explain this for the audience real quick. And again, this is the globe model. Okay. So this is very simple. A solar eclipse is when the moon is in between the sun and the earth. And when it's aligned just right, the shadow of the moon is on the earth. That's a solar eclipse.
That's the way that Witsit just walks off of this. I don't have to do it here. I'm just going to fuck off here because I haven't got anything to say about this.
That's what's going to happen in North America in April. Now, a lunar eclipse, which we're talking about first right now, is when the earth is in between the sun and the moon. Okay, very, very, very significant. And so then the globe model is saying that the earth shadow is then going onto the moon. That's the difference between a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse. All right, now,
Gizmo's just wrote the same thing about 3 times. He's tagged me in it to get my attention because he knows it's going to enrage me, what he's wrote here. Do you think your husband will be jealous another man is making you more money than he does? Oh, it's another gay joke there. After the success that Bev and his bitch had with that, Gizmo thought that's a good train to get on that one. Let's do the gay shit. That'll really wind him up. Cheers, Gizmo. Did I say that Gizmo wrote that? Gizmo. Gizmo, give me some money. Gizmo, cash, please. Gizmo.
I also want to explain something to everybody, and I did some arts and crafts here so that people can understand it. And Austin, I want you to see this if you're nearby.
He's coming back in a second.
It's cute that you tagged me in it though, Gizmo, because I ignored it twice beforehand. Next time you need to super chat if you want me to read something out. All right? Probably about a tenner. That'd be good.
And so you do understand that the model calls for that. In order for that to be true, we have to have a form.
Steve, it is weird. I know. I found it very weird when I watched. I've not seen up to this point yet. Like, I only watched about half an hour at the beginning before, and I thought it'd be a good thing to do. But it's very strange to watch him take this position from what he says now.
400 times as far, sun, and 400 times as big.
No, that's not true.
What do you mean?
That it works with that, but it doesn't have to be.
What do you mean?
It could be 500 and 500, 300 and 300.
Sure.
It doesn't have to be exactly that.
Okay. But
Okay,
you
great.
don't think that that's strange that we live on a place that those two things line up like that?
No, I believe that was God's design.
Okay. So God
God's
needed us to
design.
move 1.2 million miles per hour. He needed us to have
Load
an
of drivel.
867,000 miles wide sun when we're only 8,000 miles in diameter. Makes
Okay,
sense.
so here we go. Oh, you're muted, by the way, Austin.
It's okay. You go ahead. I was gonna say, well, I want to toss you something. I'm saying I respect the creationist heliocentrism way more, right? At least you can say, yeah, that's a crazy coincidence that the sun is 400 times bigger than the moon, but it looks like it's just the same exact size that we can have total eclipses because it's also exactly 400 times further away, and that would have to be something like God. Like the heliocentrism model is completely impossible without some type of design. But I just want to throw that out there. You do have an advantage over some of the other people you were invoking in your opener. But go ahead.
Well, that's like if you believe there's a creator and you believe that everything's designed, but you also believe that God isn't smart enough to create a globe and a universe. It has to be a terrarium. Like someone was trying to explain to me once. He goes, God will have to have a flat plane with a dome on it because then he can look down on us like his creation. Well, surely if God was all seeing, all knowing, and all of the days that have already happened in God's mind, he knows exactly what's going to happen and where we're all going. He doesn't need to have a point of view down on this. He can see everywhere all at once, surely, if this man on the cloud is really real.
Awesome. All right, so guys, all this is it's a styrofoam ball. I stole one of my wife's Christmas ornaments. She let me. Styrofoam ball, and then I colored it with a Sharpie. Okay, so there's no manipulation or anything going on right here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain something that's very important for everybody to understand when we talk about eclipses, which is moon phases. Okay, so this is very simple.
Gizmo, I got to read this one out. He hasn't tagged me, he hasn't super chatted me, but it's funny anyway. I don't need to super chat you. You know my name and I don't know yours. Well, okay, Gizmo. Every time I say your name, I seem to get paid. And you're sitting on my channel watching me for the last couple of hours. I'd say you're definitely winning this dispute. Right?
This white side of the moon here is the side that is lit up. So from a geometric standpoint, with a single light source, a sphere can only be
If this is winning for you, Gizmo, I'd hate to see you lose.
lit on half of it at one point in time. So if we look at this here, this side would be the side that the sun is lighting up. This would be the dark side of the moon, the side that the sun is not lighting up. Okay, so this is very important. Really quick, I just want to go through the phases here.
Did someone just say one more super chat needed for my goal?
So this is what we refer to
I think I read that.
as a full
Gizmo.
moon, which is when the side that's lit up is facing the earth. And then as we turn it here, when you see the half moon, it's because the side that's facing the earth, you can only see half the side that's lit. When we keep going, you're going to see your crescent moon there. Remember, this is just a straight line creating all of these shapes. There's your crescent moon. And then this is what we call a new moon. A new moon is when the opposite.
No, I ain't got the Witsit song. I wish I did. I haven't set it up. I'm gonna have to go to CMS's channel and queue up these songs like some of the like Tone and that do. But I always forget to. I don't ever play the. I just go at the end. I don't ever play the podcast. I'm getting out bad habits. I don't ever play the live stream out. I'll just say, yeah, bye everyone, see you later. Which maybe I should stop playing these songs.
Opposite side of the moon to the earth is the one that's lit up, and the dark side is what's facing the earth. So not only do we have the dark side, we've got a bright light, which is the sun over here, which is why we don't see a new moon. Okay, so that's very important. That's how the phases of the moon work on the globe model. Now,
You're one eyeing us. I saw you. Wait. So the lunar eclipse on the globe, of course, is that the Earth is blocking the light from.
Gold complete, Joe H. Thank you. I'll get down on that Gizmo. Wank juice for Gizmo. Well done, Gizmo. Send over your wank juice.
Casting a shadow onto the moon.
right.
I'm sure you've seen plenty of wank
so-
juice today
so
already,
what I
but
did
there's
that
some more.
on the moon phases, real quick. I was curious. What is a full moon and what is a new moon on your model?
Good question, man. I think it's probably like a magnetic cycle, and just like
Here we
the
go.
center of a ferrocell cell image of a magnet, it's just completely black. It's actually just pure inertia in the center, the ferrocell cell image of a magnet. I think that's what it is. It just actually goes into its inertial state, it charges back up, and once it becomes like etherically displaced again, you start to see it charge up throughout a cycle, then it goes back. Purely speculation. I don't know what the moon is at all. It's a very beautiful thing. The Creator made the heavens so that you can't understand them, so that you have to acknowledge that He exists. But what I wanted to talk about,
Yeah, because the creator would definitely want to stay hidden. For no reason whatsoever. I want everyone to just believe me. I'm going to give no clues that I'm here. Jaren's face throughout that was really funny. Even he was looking at him like he was his best mate at the time, and even he was looking at him, saying as if to say, "What the fuck is he talking about, that prick?"
is the falsification is independent of replacement things, right? Because I don't need to know what it is to know that your model is, well, provably not true. So if the Earth is blocking the light from the sun, casting a shadow onto the moon during a lunar eclipse, then how is there an eclipse called the Selenilian eclipse?
Sure. Okay.
Oh no! Right, we'll start at the Selenilian eclipse next time. I think. My 2 hours that I was going to stream is up. I have to get up for work at 2:20 a.m. So I've got to do that in the morning. So I'm only going to get about 5 or 6 hours kip here. But I'm going to finish this up. Well, I don't know if I'll finish it up, actually. What's the time? Only an hour and a half or 4 hours. I probably won't finish on Sunday, but I'm going to continue this on Sunday. But Gizmo, please, so to speak, Gizmo, come again on Sunday. That'd be great. I'm just an invite. If you come again on Sunday, Gizmo, I'll bring you up on the stream if you want. And you can really show everybody your wit. That'd be hilarious. Right, cheers everybody that's been in here today. The unfunny flat earth trolls that fouled miserably like a pair of pricks. Added to everyone's entertainment. I'm pissed off that Dimmock didn't show up. That would have been funny. I'm still pissed off that the Scottish rapper doesn't show up. That's probably Gizmo could very well be the Scottish rapper trying to take his revenge by earning me a fortune. Cheers, Scottish rapper. I'm pissed off that it was the bloke from last week that was on Sunday's one offering everyone 40 grand and shit to jump up. That was funny. Hopefully at some point there'll be a flat earther that I can actually do something with rather than just these idiot trolls that come along. Someone that's actually known. Like I'd love Gas Pressure Spurs Chemo. I might tell him that I'm live streaming on YouTube on Sunday and he can come up and talk to me. I think that'd be great. Right, nice one. Cheers, everybody. Thanks for all of your support. Thanks for all the super chats. Thanks for all the likes. Thanks for the memberships. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel. See you later. Gizmo's still trying the gay thing. Like, eventually, if I keep calling him gay, he'll definitely get triggered eventually. Yeah, cheers, Gizmo. See you later. Thanks for all the money, Gizmo. See you later. Adios. Bye-bye.